Defining Duke is brought to you by FreezePipe and their exceptional line of glassware, which you can learn more about right now at thefreezepipe.com. American-owned, which is important to us here at Last Stand, and with over 100,000 happy customers, FreezePipe is your solution to smoke like royalty without paying a king's ransom. Shop now at thefreezepipe.com, that's TheFreezePipe.com, and use the checkout code DUKE, that's DUKE, for 10% off your entire order. That's thefreezepipe.com with the checkout code DUKE for 10% off. Order today to get free shipping and say goodbye to harsh smoke forever.
Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today. Welcome to episode 164 of Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast. It's going to be a normal episode this week, Cog. We got our whole structure back. The before we begin section is here. What we're playing is here. We got a dedicated news section, warm-up questions, Game Pass pick of the week. Yeah, I know. We've been off our structure for a few weeks, but this time, no craziness, no emergencies. We got a nice normal show. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. It's a funny time right now. I will say that. It is a funny time, just analyzing things, but a lot of games being played. I'm very proud of myself. I've got stuff to talk about later. Okay. But yeah, man, I'm doing good for the most part. Trying to stay consistent with the health and all that stuff. And other than that, man, just this gaming industry is something else. I would say that. Yeah. Yeah. But what about you? What's been going on, man? You falling off any bikes? What's going on with you?
No fall. No new Peloton stories. We do have a write-in about that somewhere. Oh yeah, here it is. Shad Vegas wrote in saying, "What's up, guys? Just wanted to share a story related to your Peloton incident. One of my friends and I used to ride road bicycles together. One day we were riding through the city of Atlanta, and he forgot to unclip his shoes as we hit a stoplight. Embarrassingly, he fell over, but to make matters worse, it was right in front of a group of homeless guys. Shout out to my man Eric for that hilarious mishap. Have at least my fiance was the only one to see me stuck on my bike kind of day." Yeah, we got a lot of comments about it. A lot of the Peloton community came to my aid. A lot of the Peloton community came to my aid. Was like, "Maddie, you wiggle your heels." Now, I have yet to try it since that story was delivered, just because I got to get a seat cushion. That shit's hurting the perineum big time. That shit is aching. And I was like, I don't like this type of pain, man. I didn't spend this much money to ache down there. So it got me into the gym in a different way. So I've started lifting weights for the first time in a long while. Since the back injury. So
do we even lift, bro? Okay.
Yeah, so we're back slow and steady, though. You know, I think when I went last time, there's a tortoise in the hair, right? I definitely was doing the hair, upping my weight, and the progress was showing, bro. I was filling out, but I definitely don't need to rush it, especially now. Okay. So I'm doing super light weights, feeling the form. You know, I'm challenging myself enough where I'm getting the workout, but I'm not doing that. I'm resisting the temptation of like, I could throw on another 15 here. Like, I know I can do it. Okay. I'm resisting that, focusing on form, slow, stability, no like hunching over, nothing above the head. What I do anytime when I started working out again a couple of years ago and getting into weightlifting, I make a little spreadsheet. I create a whole vibe around it. Yeah. I made an anime workout sheet. So I put characters that inspire me for different types of workouts. And I had to redo all of that because I can't do any above the head workouts because it will compress the lower spine. And it's not even the balance. Yeah, it's the lower spine. Like if it gets compressed, that's what kept me out of Duke for like almost 2 weeks because I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk and it hurt to sit. So I was just in pain constantly, and I'm trying to avoid that. So I'm building up to that. So I had to pick out a very specially made workout, and I have to learn what I can and can't do.
Absolutely.
So that's been good. But yeah, once I get a new seat cushion, I'll report in if I can escape my Peloton or if my fiance has to see me once more. So we'll see how that goes.
Hilarious. No, I love it. That's good to hear. And I like that you're going slow. And people don't realize a big part of getting your body acclimated when you just started working is knowing what you can and cannot get away with and starting off extremely light and humble. That's big because that's your body saying, okay, I can do this. Okay, I'm not going to put too much stress on lower back. So for me, it's funny you say that because I had to eliminate like hardcore squats because of the lower back pain.
I can't do squats.
Yeah. So now I got workarounds. I got other things I could do. So no, I definitely feel what you're saying on that. That's really being smart.
Yeah, I'm trying, right? Because I'm too young to just, if you hurt your lower back again and again and again, you just gradually lose that mobility. So I got lucky first time that, once I went to the emergency room and they injected me with some sort of anti-inflammatory that just gave me mobility again. I was like, all right, that's not readily available over the counter. Like everything I was doing was just not working. So it's like, I need to avoid stiffening up like that again.
Yes.
Pause.
Super pause, but it's all good. The seat cushion was the win. That was the winner though.
Yeah, true. Two already. We're only 5 minutes in.
I know. We had.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for tuning in. If you want to support us, you can go to patreon.com/laststandmedia, get early ad-free access, typically on Thursdays. Dustin said this before, whether it be in our Discord or in shows, but yeah, we really haven't had much of a schedule here at LSM these last couple of months because just there's always been something massive happening where we're undergoing a lot of change in the industry. But typically we go live on Thursdays for early access. Then we go live for everyone on Sundays on free feeds. We have a write-in here from Dan XL. You can also write in at patreon.com/laststandmedia. Dan writes, hello, Mr. Daddy Plays and Mr. Cognito. These last 2 weeks have demonstrated why Defining Duke is the definitive Xbox podcast and the standard for video game podcasting. The conversations around Xbox have been enlightening, critical, and fair all at the same time. Your calm demeanors and relaxing voices have managed to soothe and calm even the most distressed Xbox fans. DD, ILP, Mr. Matty Plays, and Retro Rebound deserve all the success. Have a lovely weekend filled with joy and video games. Thank you, Dan. Very kind of you. Yeah, the love for the Dukes has been pretty strong lately. I just want to give that back. We really do appreciate it, because like I've talked about sometimes how Duke does face a smidge of an uphill battle because we were rooted in a PlayStation-centric audience. And I think sometimes we not to remove accountability, but I think sometimes we do get a little overhated for just doing our job. And so to see that, like when Xbox is going going up in flames, it was one of those moments where I was like, this is going to be messy for us. And it was the opposite, I think, because of some of the irresponsibility of conversations surrounding our show, that we were able to step in and show by example what we do here really well. And so we just thank everyone for tuning in, giving us a shot. I know, as someone who made a bunch of videos about it, sees all the videos in my sub feed, like everyone was talking about it. So just thank you to those of you who wanted to tune in, learn a little bit more and hear our side of things on what was happening with Xbox these last 2 weeks, which we'll be continuing that conversation this week, no doubt about it, with the announcements of all the games coming to Switch and PlayStation, what we'll talk about. But we appreciate everyone who hung with us through all of that, because that was definitely chaotic. And we really had to act on our toes pretty quickly, because that went real quick from like, all right, we know there's a gradual transition to we're here.
Boom, here.
It's like that. So pat it back to us. Cog, you were excellent as always.
Oh, thank you. You were excellent too. I never give you your flowers, yo. Watching back the crossover specifically, your hosting was God tier on that one. You was flowing. You was in your bag. Like, because you gotta understand, it's all of our personalities. Like this, that was masterclass hosting. Like, and able to get your own points in at the same time, giving everybody the floor and then keeping the discussion moving. You know what I'm saying? And you got Cobra Command. You got everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's a skill set, brother. Like you be doing your thing, man. So shout out to Mr. Manny Plays doing his thing. You know, for me, I just try to be honest and insightful and also, I think what it is we forget to be funny sometimes to make light of certain things that aren't that serious, but we do exactly. But
you're good at that. That's what we need you for. I get too uppity at times, so we definitely need your humorous touch about going to the club and not being too loyal.
You know what I'm saying? We in a situation. We in a situationship. That's what we in.
Well, we appreciate everyone for their write-ins and their kind words. We're going to continue to do our thing here, and we hope you're on the ride with us as Xbox is going to live. So we'll still be here for a nice long while at least. Meatball wrote in here. We like to help our audience from time to time. Sometimes y'all submit random inquiries about struggles you're having in life, and we're just like, well, we're here for Video Game Insight, but why not help a friend out? So Meatball writes, "Greeting, spicy soldiers." I like that callback to the Lockwood edit. Yes, sir.
Oh, he got us, man.
He got me record the separate line about Spicy Soldier Cast. I was like, because he'll just hit me up and be like, hey, can you record this line? I'm like, the fuck is he doing?
What's he doing?
Anyway, Meatball writes in saying, greetings, Spicy Soldiers. At what age are you too old to ask for help moving? After 6 years of living in a small 1-bedroom apartment, my wife and I are finally moving to a much bigger place next month. The question is, do we rely on our friends and family or hire a moving company like real adults? We're both in our 30s, and I can't help but feel a bit silly asking my mommy and daddy to help me pack up my things like I'm leaving for college. What's the play here, gentlemen? Maybe I'll call Delivering Duke a moving company. Thank you for writing it, as always, Meatball. So, Cog, I think there's a couple of factors here, right? I think parental age is one, right? Like if they're too old to help you move, you might have to hire some help, right? But if it's a pride thing, is there, because I was not aware of this even being a question, like is there a pride thing attached to asking for help to move? Because like my uncle, my parents, my brother, Laylee's family, like all helped when we moved. It was like a team effort.
Yeah, for me, moving is when you know who your friends are. It's on, like you better know who your friends are. Like, again, parents, we get it. If they're up in age, you ain't gonna do that. That's just too much. Yeah. But I feel like, you were in the right to be like, hey man, I got this move going on. Any bit of help I could use, because you always get that. You could tell by results. Oh man, that week. Oh man, I don't know. Like I gotta see. Let me get back to you. When you get all that energy, I'm telling you, if you gotta move, you learn a lot. So I would say, immediate friends, if they can, and again, they don't have to take on the bulk of it. Even if they just do a little piece to kind of help you
stuff
out
in the boxes.
Yeah, that's it. Just help with the boxes, whatever. Because listen, moving around, I know people. One of my best friends, he moves a lot. Like he's been one of those people that lives a life that, whether career or different things, he's always had to move. So yeah, I would have to get the call. But again, the way I look at it is, when anything medically or something happened to me, and they be like, yo, you need someone to check you in, check you out. You can't have that procedure by yourself. If they sedate you, whatever. That's my man. Like, yo, P, I could, you around? All right, cool. You know what I'm saying? So we have that kind of relationship where it's like, whatever's needed, we know, all right, let me take the deal. What day that is? All right, cool. And we got each other. That to me is real ones, and you figure that out. So yeah, I would say that. But obviously not everyone has that situation, but it's okay to ask. It's okay to ask. Yeah. That's where I'm at.
I agree. I don't think I have anything else to add there. I think you ask. Keep in mind if your parents are like, in their 70s or whatever, and mobility is tough for them. Yeah. Maybe they can help you pack. Like my mom definitely helped me pack big time when it came to us moving out. Like she helped throw stuff in the boxes, but my brother and my dad and I and my uncle did a lot of the lifting. So
what parents are good at is, especially my mom, like, maybe you don't get to the move, but maybe on the new spot, help decorate, help come up with ideas.
Yes.
Like, how moms and daddy got that, what, it'd be better if you put it in that spot. And you know what I'm saying? Like that good parental vibe when you get to the new spot, utilize them for that.
Yeah, that too. So get them involved, Meatball. It's a big move in your life. Just, be selective in how you do so. All right. We got a bunch of Phil Spencer updates here before we get into Mandalorian game, Halo games that were denied, Elden Ring, some announcements at the Nintendo Direct. Pretty busy week here. For starters, this one came through. This came through a message on Xbox. Someone DM'd Phil and asked him, hey, when can we play own games on Xbox Cloud Gaming? And he said sometime this year. So that is the update right now. So originally the way you do it is you could stream games, or you could play games through Game Pass, but eventually you'll be able to stream the ones that you own on xCloud this year, hopefully, which I think will be great because, again, my watch Xcloud.
Exactly.
Right here. It's ready, man.
Exactly.
Ready.
Dope. Yeah, this is dope. If you own the license, I love, if we go in this digital future, this should be a part of it. And I love that option because not everything's going to be in Game Pass, right? You're going to want stuff that you own to be able to be streamable.
Let's talk about something here that was not addressed during the business update. Now we have an answer thanks to Stephen Totillo's game file. Phil Spencer spoke about physical media, and here's what he had to say, quote, Microsoft will follow what the customers are doing. We are supportive of physical media, but we don't have a need to drive that disproportionate to customer demand. We ship games physically and digitally, and we're just really following what the customers are doing. And I think it's our job in Xbox to deliver on things that a majority of the customers want. And right now, a majority of our customers are buying games digitally. He also noted the economic concerns of a disk drive-based console. Quote, gaming consoles themselves have kind of become the last consumer electronic device that has a drive. This is a real issue just in terms of the number of manufacturers that are actually building drives and the cost associated with those. And when you think about the cogs that are going to, there you go, the cogs that are going to be put in the console. Yeah, they got to put my man in the console, right? He was born the same day as the first one came out.
Facts.
And when you think about the cogs that we're going to put into a console, and as you have fewer suppliers and fewer buyers, the cost of the drive does have an impact. But I will say that our strategy does not hinge on moving people all digital and getting rid of physical. That's not a strategic thing for us. Lastly, he clarified the layoffs tied to Xbox's physical games division, saying that it was more of an alignment across ZeniMax, Activision, and Xbox. So we have teams that are in charge of physical retail, inclusive of selling games in physical outlets. So that's what the team action was. It wasn't about us getting rid of the capability. So he's saying there was overlap here and that they're not stopping physical games because they laid off seemingly a whole division, according to the report from Jez Corden, and instead are just optimizing and that they'll continue to do so. So, Cog, we'll stick with this for a little bit. What do you make of the thoughts here from Phil on physical games? They seem like they're doing it, but he's kind of, I think, mentioning the economics of the disk drive, saying like, hey, looking forward, like it's going to cost us, and our customers are buying games digitally. And so it seems like it's going to make less sense for them with the next generation to have that disc-based console. But what do you make of what Phil has said here?
I feel a theme. And the theme, I think, is as much as people don't want to hear what I'm about to say, Xbox has learned from the Xbox One generation. And they have learned that ripping the Band-Aid off for this fan base is not what you necessarily want to do. You want to get them there, but you got to get them there slowly. And I think that's what's happening here. You know, and I know, based on the way their ecosystem is structured, with Game Pass, digital, they literally sell a Series S that does not have a disc, right? And we already know about consoles that potentially will not have one. We talked about the cost of the physical drive, cutting down hardware costs. That's definitely one of the bullet points, right? I just think it's a situation where they know the data. They know in their ecosystem, physical games are not being a big part of it in that respect, as opposed to other ecosystems. So yeah, this is where they're going. So I think this is some very carefully woven speak in reference to getting us there, right? And I get it, and I just think that they know not to say it, but we know where they're going. And I think that's the thing. I will also think that was the theme of the business update. You know, I really took more time to think about it. And as mad as I was, like, just rip the Band-Aid off. Just tell us what the 4 is. Just, you know what I'm saying? You know, one is legal, some potential legal issues that, I've been informed about. And then the second thing is, again, this base, if you do that, you risk Xbox One energy, which is, nope, everything DRM, you can't trade game. Like, we know better for you. That was Xbox One. You see what I'm saying? And even though they may be right eventually, you can't do that. Because you know what it is, Maddie? Last point. The informed user, he can get that. She can get that. But there are a lot of people in the casuals that they understand, whether it be the emotionality or the loyalty to the base, that they just cannot process that right now. And you got to spoon fed. It's like sneaking in the vegetables with them. You got to sneak that. That's what's going on here.
Yeah, I'm not really surprised by the approach here. You're totally on the money that they've learned from the Xbox One generation. I feel like this whole business event update has really taught us that they are not going to just steamroll into whatever direction they believe the industry is heading, and that they're going to do so gently, so that if they have to adjust, they can, like saying definitively, yeah, we're going to leave behind physical games, which they're probably going to do. Like saying that definitively, you lose a big chunk of your base there, you lose revenue there. People aren't going to buy. They may see the same game on Xbox that's also on PlayStation, but buy it on PlayStation now, which means you miss out on that. So I think Xbox is definitely going to steam in this direction over time. I think they're the most ready for that digital future with all of the pieces and that they have on the chessboard. They have the Xcloud, they have Game Pass. It's no less disappointing though. I mean, it's a bummer just because I get the economics. Like out of everything he said here, the one thing I didn't consider was the cost of the disk drive. These systems are already made at a loss and sold at a loss. So to add to that, I imagine is something they would like to avoid, especially when they're saying already now, like, hey, we're pretty much the last standing disk drive based consumer electronic device. And 5-10 years from now, I mean, you have another thing with a disk drive in it. Just doesn't sound feasible to me. What I could see happening though is we saw the trademarks of I don't know how I'd word it, but like a disk drive that connects to the console separately.
Oh, like the external joint? Like,
yeah, kind of like that. And I feel like that could be the solution, almost like customization. Like,
okay,
hey, we're partnering with Limited Run. We'll talk about that later. We're doing Pentiment. We're doing Hi-Fi Rush. You buy those physically. You can still play them on your Xbox. You just need this device here. Maybe that's the idea. I don't know how modular Xbox really wants to get, but I see that as a solution down the road, make an all digital console and then have the ability to plug into the side of it or something along those lines. That could be one way they go about it. For those of you who are really collecting for Xbox and you want to continue to collect for Xbox, I think based off those trademark listings, we could assume that might be one pathway that they do take. Just because I don't know, the thing that we don't know is it was with companies like Limited Run, as annoying as they can be, making as much money as they do, there is a demand and a love from a hardcore community for physical games, collectible goodies, and to outright ignore that, I think would be a detriment to your platform. Like, I think the reason physical game, that's nice. Ooh, that's nice. Is that from Tekken 8? Oh,
it's the Tekken 8. It's that in the collector's joint. Yeah.
Dude,
it's my joint.
So nice.
When I love something, I gotta get. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
That's why I don't want to. I know I'm Team Digital a lot, but these are the collector stuff that I gotta have.
Exactly. And gamers love hard, right? So I say all of that just because if you ignore that, I think it's why people like buy games on Switch, for example, a ton, because Switch if like you do research on like preservation and what games can I play nowadays without the updates, it's the Switch. And so I think if you completely abandon that, you're just leaving money on the table. So I think one way or another, they're going to find a way. I just don't know. It would be cheaper for them to produce a console all digital and then have the physical add-on for those who are like diehard collectors. So we'll see. But that's my copium for everyone.
No, I feel you. And my copium is I want to be a little bit more aggressive with them on back compat. This is something that they helped pioneered. Yeah. And I don't want them to completely walk away from it, especially now that we know ABK and continue, man, because at the end of the day, if you're going to push that, the efforts there would be really appreciated, because that would also show your wanting your, what is the word, stick to it. And you want to stay in it and you want to still, because they've even mentioned being part of the Xbox ecosystem is being able to access your library from way back, right? So I wanted to see that commitment, to go on. Sorry, Jason Ronald.
Yeah, I agree.
Or you and the team, or whoever's still managing that now.
Yeah, that demand's only going to rise if they say, like, okay, no more physical games. Like, you're going to have to try to figure out how to expand that back compat program and invest the resources in there, because that's something that when Xbox winded down like FPS boost, which is crazy to me, they wind down all these programs that enhance back compat. And we heard rumors they have yet to deliver on it, that PlayStation had figured something out for PS3 games. They'd figured something out to get more back compat options there for PS2 even. It felt like there was a genuine, tangible excitement from gamers, like to ready to go over there just because of the access. So I feel as time goes on, games get more expensive, and we'll see how like the budgets of them fluctuate and how frequent releases truly do continue to happen like they are nowadays. People are going to really rely on that back catalog of games, and being able to access everything at once is going to be, I think, more powerful than these platform providers are considering at this moment in time.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got an update on Call of Duty here. A small one, but I want to hear your thoughts on this more so, Cog. Phil Spencer talked about Call of Duty coming to Game Pass, and his wording was this, quote, "Our intent is the full portfolio of games from ZeniMax, Activision Blizzard, and Xbox Game Studios will be on Game Pass day one," end quote. So this was Stephen Totilo asking about Call of Duty on Game Pass, and this was his response. What do you make about the exit strategy here in our intent, though? How do you read that?
Wait, say that again. The exit strategy, I didn't hear the second part.
Oh, yeah, in our intent. Like
Our
saying
intent. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like, we desire to do this so that
okay,
it doesn't happen. Well, we wanted to, but
okay, I got you. I actually read it different. This to me was the strongest part of the business update. And again, I call it the 5 tenet of Xbox. You know, what does it mean to be part of Xbox? And if you go to the Xbox Wire post, it did say, you know, games, day and date, in Game Pass, you know, and then prior to that, when they announced the Diablo launching in March to Game Pass, they were clear. They said delivering on our promise to all Activision Blizzard games, new releases and classic. So to me, that was the strongest thing they said out of all the dancing with the 4 titles and all that stuff earlier. That gave me confidence. I'm gonna be honest, even though it's funny, I'm not the biggest Call of Duty guy anymore, minus the last one. I liked it. Everybody don't like it, but you know, fix your face, man. Don't give me that damn eye roll.
I didn't eye roll. That was an eyebrow bump.
He was like, that one comment. No, but all jokes aside, you know, that is so important because to me, I want to see the vision of what happens to Game Pass with that's in the service, with Diablo's in the service. What does it do? And there's a part of me that feels that that's another reason why they were actually transparent on the softer Game Pass numbers, because now you can show stakeholders, okay, this was our baseline at this point, and now let's see. And if they see increases there, that'll be huge for their overall vision. I'm dying to know. I really, provided they market, they do everything they're supposed to do correctly. I am dying to know what Call of Duty does for that platform.
Yeah, you and I both. Because this is one that I think originally they seemed kind of reluctant. Like Sarabon specifically was reluctant to firm up during the FTC when they were in court for that, and she was really hesitant to kind of firm up if like Call of Duty was going to be on Game Pass day one, or that would take till like 2025. So this would be a touch ahead of schedule. And I think it would be really good for the platform if they had this in there. So this is again where I think the future is going. Like I said, I think exclusivity is going to get replaced by day one Game Pass, because that's the dollar value, something we can all understand across all platforms.
Yeah.
Defining Duke is brought to you by FreezePipe and their exceptional line of glassware, which you can learn more about right now at thefreezepipe.com, where you can use the code Duke to get 10% off your order. Yes, it's true. My voice is a mysterious one to hear on this show. It's me, Colin. I own Last Stand, the podcast network Defining Duke is part of, and I've been called off the bench to talk about FreezePipe because, frankly, I'm completely smitten. As a 2-decade-plus user of marijuana, I kind of assumed I had seen it all when it comes to novel ways you can smoke, and needless to say, I've fallen into routines as the years have passed. But FreezePipe's offerings have completely changed the game for me, because their glassware has easily provided the smoothest smoking sessions I've literally ever had. As the name suggests, the key is in the word freeze. FreezePipe's wares come with freezable glycerin chambers that reduce your smoke by as much as 300 degrees Fahrenheit. All you do is place your chambers in the freezer for an hour or two, attach them to your FreezePipe bong or bubbler, and voila, you're off to the races. I legit cannot believe how much I love the various glassware I've received from FreezePipe, from the aforementioned bong that's completely replaced my old favorite, to the also aforementioned bubbler that has brought me back to my college days, to even a bowl, which I'm smoking as I write and record this ad, which you can place in the freezer for maximum effect. This is obviously awesome for virgin lungs. Maddie and Cog would be right at home with a FreezePipe. But for the more seasoned amongst us, expect to be blown away. Putting ice cubes in a rickety bong doesn't only seem quaint by comparison, it is. And I've noticed something else too. Since using FreezePipe, I'm getting better hits, which means I'm getting more out of my flower, which means I'm using noticeably less. I guess what I'm saying is consider me and FreezePipe in love. American owned, which is important to us here at Last Stand, and with over 100,000 happy customers, FreezePipe is your solution to smoke like royalty without paying a king's ransom. Shop now at thefreezepipe.com, that's TheFreezePipe.com, and use the checkout code Duke, that's DUKE, for 10% off your entire order. That's thefreezepipe.com with the checkout code Duke for 10% off. Order today to get free shipping and say goodbye to harsh smoke forever. The FreezePipe, my friends, is 100% Colin Moriarty approved. And now I'll get off of your Xbox podcast.
All right, Cog, this one immediately thought of you. A first-person Mandalorian bounty hunter game is in the works at Respawn, according to Insider Gaming. The game is said to be focused on mobility, like Mandalorian's jetpack and style, as it's described to be fast-paced. Insider also reports that the player will have a variety of gadgets, from wrist rockets and grapple hooks to a visor, tagging enemies and bounties. It will not be open world and more linear, and it's said to be 1 to 2 years away at the least. Neo JD writes in, "Hey fellas, how are we feeling about this rumor that Respawn is working on a first-person Mandalorian game? Sounds like something Xbox should jump on for marketing. No? Thanks, and have a you could hell dive. I'll stand by for Titanfall kind of day." That's a good one. That was a good one.
I like that, Neo. I like
All right,
that.
Cog.
Yo.
Respawn. These are your dudes, right?
Oh
You rocked the shirt here before.
Yes.
They are doing already amazing work with the Jedi series. Vince Zampella helped recover Battlefield 2042, which seems to be in a decent spot now. And now they're taking their greatness, what they're, I think, best known for, which is first-person shooting, into Mandalorian in a bounty hunting game. And some of the mechanics that were described here by Insider Gaming, I don't know how many people listening have played Star Wars Bounty Hunter, but like using your visor, tagging enemies, finding bounties, like that was from Bounty Hunter. The wrist rockets, the grapple hook, like these were all available to you. So this sounds like a modern first-person take on Star Wars Bounty Hunter, which I am so gassed about. But Cog, I want to know for you as the Respawn dude here, how do we feel about this? Because we knew they were working on a first-person shooter. Now it looks like we know what it is. Part of me is a little sad. I was really hoping we get the spiritual sequel to like Republic Commando. I was really, because they were, you know, that's like the prequel kind of era stuff there. Like they're already kind of doing that with Jedi. I'm like, that's more of that. Like, come on. But I'm not going to complain about this, especially because there's been Mandalorian games rumored for years now since we started defining Duke. So it's the first official word we really got of it from a trusted source. What do you make of it?
First of all, shout out to them for securing this license. Like, we've been wanting a Mandalorian game in some form, and we're like, what is going on here? So I have to assume the Jedi Survivor relationship, that it's doing fantastic. We know they're probably going to get another game. You know, Disney's really liking what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, to me, Disney is more in tune than we think, because I look at it like how I look at, you know, Marvel, the way they were talking to Dinga, and, you know, how arcane, you know, their games are. You know, Respawn are those guys. There's only a few of them I would figure like what I consider the gods of like FPS, you know, and you got to throw Respawn in there. We know Bungie, we know id, you know what I'm saying, and Doom and those guys. But Respawn, like I said, if you was on that Call of Duty mainframe, you knew what the Modern Warfare, you knew what the 60 frames per second jump meant to console gaming, and just perks and addictive features and tight gunplay. And I told y'all about that damn Titanfall. I told y'all what that was. You know what I'm saying? And that, the wall running, the traversal, changed the game. Mandalorian, they already have a foundation in what you said with the other game. So now them in this space, and then world-class storytelling, you know, graphical fidelity, movement. I'm not even worried in the least. Like, I can hear the theme song in my head. How's that, Jack? Oh, it's gonna be sick. It's, man, I
got a new track to hum. Watch out. Don't let Xbox get the marketing rights to this one.
I'm still loyal Starfield, but man, that Mandalorian theme, that hits different. And I get emotional. I hear that on the treadmill, because it's like a start, and it's like, and then when that and that beat, that joint is hard. Like, that is what I watched the guy that composed that. It's amazing. But look, Respawn, they're gonna do their thing. Vince gonna do their thing. Shout out to everybody over there. My boy Patrick Rand and a couple of rest of it. They are phenomenal over there. Yeah, nothing. They haven't made, in my opinion, they haven't made a whack game yet.
Still, they're on a roll. Still, Apex Legends may have an asterisk next to it for you, right? Just kind of
I can't even hate
because of Titanfall 3.
I can't even hate. I came in hating. Like, remember when I came in hating on Obsidian with Grounded? I came in hating. I was like, oh, yeah, I ain't make my Titanfall 3 for this. I came in with bad energy. Very disrespectful energy. And then I played it, and I was like, so Battle Royale community, how we feeling? It's like, like, it's fine. I was like, it's fine. It's just that I'm out of that genre, but they made it good. And they added, I think, was it the pingbacks? They changed the way you communicate without a mic in battle royal games, and made, I think, Fortnite stepped they joined it to do what they doing.
Apex was like the one battle royale I played solo, which I can't say I've done for the others, and it was because of those communication options. I didn't feel like I was losing out. I'm really excited about this, just from not even like the prowess of the developer itself, just the way they handle first person shooters. Like, this game could have the worst story imaginable. They could blow every character reaction and interaction out of the water. But the game will still be fun to play. I can almost guarantee it, because they just don't miss on first person. They don't. Name one time they did. Titanfall, Call of Duty, or at least that's the team who worked on Call of Duty, Apex. Like, they all feel incredible. So this is exciting, especially because they said it's linear, not open world. I'm like, good.
Oh, thank you for that. I forgot about that's the biggest part. I forgot. Yes.
Like, because if it's open world and it's, I'm excited. See, the thing is, I like that they only have so far given the one Star Wars open world game to Ubisoft, because that plays to their strengths. I think Ubisoft does open world and flavor really well. It's the activities that they give you that are not really the most inventive, but because it's Star Wars, I think they're gonna have to shift some things. So I have a lot of hope for what is that game's name? Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I forgot the name of it. Star Wars.
Well, I always forget the name of it because
Me too.
Hold on, Star Wars Ubisoft. This is gonna bug the hell out of me now. Star Wars Outlaws.
Outlaws. Yeah,
for a job. Yeah, I'm excited for that because not everything's open world. Like, that's going to be open world because that's Ubisoft. That's massive. It's the Division team. That's what they do. Whereas Respawn has done really well with these tighter, I would say, if it's open, it may be like what we got from Jedi Survivor, where it's, you have these open zones, but there are multiple of those. I think that would work really well. So I'm all about this. And clearly Disney is going all in on Mandalorian now because the stocks are falling, because they're like, green light a movie, green light a game.
Let's go. Hurry up.
Cash in time. We need money.
Need this bread.
Here they go. All right, Cog. This next one's really interesting because we have beat the war drum on this for a while. And thank you, Helldivers 2, for bringing this one to light. Former 343 senior/lead designer Kevin Schmidt revealed this about Halo's franchise following the outcry for a Halo game similar to Helldivers 2. Quote, "We must have pitched 20 to 30 game ideas over 12 years that I was there that would have totally worked in the Halo universe. Many single player and multiplayer ODST themed ones, some galaxy spanning, some more intimate, and one that was really dark. Been in game development for almost 30 years, probably pitched well over 100 games. There are thousands of reasons they don't get made. It's rarely corpo greed or some other nefarious reason. I find it's a lot about timing." End quote. James Hill writes in, "Hey, Perky Double Ds. So not only did Helldivers 2, not only Helldivers 2 not on Xbox, but 343 pitched multiple Halo games in the same vein as Helldivers 2 that were rejected by Microsoft. When will the suffering end? Have a wasting the potential of our biggest IP kind of day." So, Kai, we've said for a while that Halo is a franchise ripe for the spinoffs. And to hear this is a little saddening. It is, because I know they're doing a good job now with Infinite, and I know we're looking at this through a very particular lens of like, oh man, 343 got the green light. They'd be firing these games out, but we've seen how they get stuck in development with now 3 Halo games and how long it takes for them to get really on track and fix the game afterwards. So I understand Xbox's potential reluctance to just greenlight everything they want. But I just think when you look at how Bungie was building out Halo, like 1, 2, and then we got Halo Wars, we got 3 ODST, like these different spins and explorations of the world, it's what really grew that love. But since then, we've only got 4 or 5 in Infinite. Like, we haven't explored beyond that. I'm sure our audience has a number of games on their head that would work really well in the Halo universe. I've always said like a turn-based game for Halo would be sick. I've always said some type of survival horror game and featuring the Flood, and you're just like a lone Marine would be fucking amazing. Helldivers 2, yeah, like with an ODST squad.
Yeah.
Duh. Like, that's a complete no-brainer.
Absolutely.
And what sucks is that it's going to take Helldivers 2 doing gangbusters to them now follow that up. And that's, you want to, like, you had that moment too, and you missed it. So what do you make of this, Cog, that we now know that there was a lot of game pitches over there? Game pitches happen everywhere, but that even ODST, maybe Helldivers 2 similar style games were denied over at Xbox when it came to the Halo franchise, and that we've only got 3 games to show for it.
Yeah, look, it is a little sad because you hear that like the developers speak that, yeah, we pitched something like that, right? So you think about the possibilities, and of course, hindsight's 2020. Games get pitched every day, and I don't want to. In fairness, there's a ton of studios that have these stories, but I think why it really stands out on the 343 side is because we have to be honest with the uneven don't say development, but the uneven critical acclaim of the games that they've made, right? Because if we put it on a scale, it would say like 4 was like they were up, right? And then people didn't like 5 Guardians, and then Halo Infinite started off super strong. Core foundations there, seems like it's back. Then they had the monetization, and they had the longevity with it. So yeah, man, it's tough. It's tough to hear stuff like that because you want these opportunities given, and you want Halo to live outside of the specific genre that it is, to keep telling these compelling stories. To, the lore is vast. I'm not even a hardcore Halo lore guy, but people tell me all the time, like, there's so much in there.
Books.
Yeah, so many books and so many side stories. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we know the TV show, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we would like. I heard it's actually doing good, so I can't be slandered. People have really hit me up. Like, the people who knew I hated on the first one, they was like, bro, you got to watch season 2. And I'm getting very strong feedback. So I got to watch that, even though I've been slanderous. But to this, I'll report back and I'll let you know if it's safe.
You take that one down for us, soldier.
You do that. I feel that, man. But yeah, I want to see them challenge. I want to see 343 challenge to put out these things and help, deliver with other teams and stuff like that. Like pretty much like how Obsidian, you see how Obsidian is, right? There's like multiple teams doing different type. Like, I would love that for the Halo universe, multiple type of joints. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll see. It is a little disheartening that they had that kind of idea though, and it didn't come to light.
Yeah, I would have loved to see them just license it out for these spinoffs. Like, Creative Assembly was a great partner for them for Halo Wars. It was cool that we got 2 Halo Wars games out of that. And seeing how 343 still gets their hands on it is good, because I feel like Halo Wars 2 is a really good example of that. Like, that story was awesome.
Yes.
And the gameplay and modes that they offer, like Blitz mode is a ton of fun. I know it was kind of microtransaction ridden because of the card packs, but like on its own, Blitz mode was fun. Like, if you were not into that style of game and you wanted something more fast paced, like that was your answer. It was a really good time. That was my preferred way to play the game, actually. So again, I hope Xbox, not even in reaction, just I hope they open up the doors a little bit to potential collaborations for Halo that can get more games out, because I think the benefit that I would identify is less about, I get a Halo game in this world and doing this thing. It's like, take the pressure off 343. Like, you need other teams making Halo games. Like, you do. Like, this is your number one IP. I think that it should be your number one IP. This is something that should have more output than as infrequent as it is. And if you have a developer that's really, taking on the mainline entries and they haven't done as great of a job as fans would like, maybe provide some moments of, I don't know, optimism for them elsewhere.
Yeah, and I think they missed an opportunity. I'm glad you mentioned Halo Wars 2, because if it wasn't for Addict putting me on, you can also, again, I hate the fact that Halo, the Master Chief story, is just married to the main line, and you just got to wait 6 to 7 years for the next one and for anything to move forward, right? So now you set up with Halo Wars 2 this amazing villain, right? And you learn how the power scale and then how that tied into Infinite. So it could bridge the gap narratively with other genres to your main game. Like, it's the thing that sells itself. So that's why I want them to really be aggressive and not give up on that kind of stuff and not do anything. I understand deals, games get shut down all the time, but we really didn't get anything outside of Halo Wars 2 and maybe like some little top-down shooter thing. It was Halo something. It was like a top-down
Spartan Assault, I think.
Yeah, Assault something. That's kind of.
That was Xbox One. Yeah,
remember that was Xbox One. So
I was excited for that, but
bro, they don't really take a lot of creative chances with it, and I get it, but I will always push back on that. Like, let's see Halo in some other genres and see what happens. And you never know. That could be, some of them other genres could be the evolution of the series that sometimes may gain more traction than the main game. But
I think that Persona is a great example of that. It's definitely way more popular than SMT, but it's a spinoff of SMT. Like, SMT is the skeleton that Persona was built off of. And I mean, do you think Atlas is sitting there going, shoot, man, now we're getting lapped by this spinoff? They're like, no, they're laughing to the bank. They're having a great, like, they're expanding it. It's bigger than it's ever been. Like, that's exciting. So if Halo ends up getting lapped by some survival horror series they spin off of it with, like, great, more people will check out the mainline game than they would have before because they like the world that you made. That's it.
Agreed. 100%.
We got a new gameplay trailer here. Shadow of the Erd Tree for Elden Ring. So it's coming June 21st. And COG, we checked it out. What are your thoughts, sir? Is this going to pull you into the lands in between?
Probably not. But it looks phenomenal. It looks absolutely phenomenal. I was telling when we was watching the trailer, I was like, they should have, how like Xbox has engagement stats, 5,000, mushrooms smashed and, what I'm saying? Or whatever. Like Elden Ring needs like 3 million controllers thrown across the screen in frustration at boss such and such. What I'm saying? Like that's that type of energy, but it looks beautiful. The skyboxes look absolutely gorgeous. I'm just happy for the Souls community. To see how this game, even though I am not a Souls guy, to see the success of this game and the way they did this in this kind of open world formula. And now for this long awaited DLC, people are going to eat this thing up like hotcakes. It's going to go crazy. I'm just going to sit there and watch the clips and watch y'all go in. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's dope. What did you think about it as the Elden Ring guy?
I don't know if that's me or if that's Brad. It sounds like it's Brad. Like he's always just playing Elden Ring. But for me, I was really excited about what I saw. Miyazaki did an interview talking about him doing a poison swamp, and he said he realized he really likes doing poison swamps, and so he hopes that when people go to this poison swamp in Shadow of the Erdtree, that people note the bit of reflection he did within the area. So I'm guessing there's going to be callbacks to like Blight Town and in Dark Souls 1, because that was like the poison area of the Souls. At least that's to me, that's what I identify it with. Like to me, that area was fucking torturous the first time through, and we knew nothing. Now we expect it in every game, but that first time through, man, whew. I will say, because of Liza P, I'm kind of satiated on Souls-like games. So I'm eager to get in. I'm eager to play, but I'm like itching. I'm not jonesing for it quite like I originally was. And so
were you not wowed by the trailer, sir? Were you not wowed?
No, definitely. I mean, it looks great. I'm just saying that I've ate a meal already.
Okay, I got
My
you.
stomach is full.
So okay. I got you.
I'll definitely be there checking it out though, seeing what's going on here. FromSoft always does, I think, best in class DLC, which is what has me really excited. Yeah, they don't cut corners on it. They feel like whole on expansions to their game. With Shadow of the Erdtree, I like how they're leaning into Mikola for the Elden Ring lore nerds out there. That was really nice because Millennia Blade of Mikola was torturous. Now we get to look at Mikola and learn a little bit more about this individual here and get smoked by them probably a ton of times too. But nonetheless, it looks really good. And I'm excited to get back into that world again. Because I haven't really gone back since I beat the game for review. So yeah, I put like 100 something. I mean, I had my fill. I put like 100 something hours into it, messed around with a bleed build, waxed everything in sight in New Game Plus, and then that was kind of it. So yeah, it's a fantastic game. Looking forward to more here, and shout out to them for holding off for this long until the game was ready to release and showing off the trailer in full with everything that we're going to get with the game and having that date ready. Because I think FromSoft's gotten better at understanding there's a huge anticipation for what they do, and that when they talk, they need to have dates ready. Which they've done really well with.
No doubt.
As we record this, we got a Nintendo Direct this morning here, and we had a couple of games announced coming to Xbox that we're going to go through, and I want to get some of your thoughts, Cog, before we talk later about the other games announced at the Direct that we already knew about. So, Another Crab's Treasure is coming April 25th. This is actually a Game Pass game, so if you're interested in that, you can download it there. Dope. Contra Operation Galaga is coming on March 12th. Disney's Epic Mickey Rebrushed 2024, no date beyond that. Penny's Big Breakaway is out now. And then we also have Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance coming June 21st, the same day as the Elden Ring DLC.
Yeah.
And the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection coming March 14th alongside Sword Art Online Fractured Daydream 2024. Cog, anything from this list here stand out to you?
I'm a big Contra guy, so I actually like that. Shin Megami Tensei look good. So what I saw there, Star Wars Battlefront is a huge game for them to get. There were a couple other ones in the Direct that I thought were really cool. We're gonna talk about what the Xbox community is concerned about later. But as far as those, there was this other game I think was called Indiri Magnolia. It had a cool little art style, and then like you beat these enemies and then they become your companions or something like that. There was one other joint. I forgot what it is, but I think they said even Kingdom Come Deliverance is coming. They had they little part of Direct. They had a lot of joints. I was like, okay, Mm-hmm.
For me, we have a write in here from RK128 for Penny's Big Breakaway saying, hello, Lord Matty and Mr. Cog plays as Lord Sonic himself. I have to shout out Penny's Big Breakaway from the recent Nintendo Direct. It's a 3D platformer made by the Sonic Mania guys, and it just shadow dropped. Are you guys going to give it a shot, or are you going to hold off on it with Final Fantasy Rebirth and other games coming out now? Have a what stays in the DMs stays in the DMs kind of day.
That's my biz. Okay, that's Kelly. That's what's up. He's with Loves of Gaming now. Salute.
Awesome. Love that.
Okay. I'll jump. I'm sorry. Like you go jump.
No. Go ahead.
This is Sonic. Let me defer. Let me defer. Lord Sonic and one of the Sonic connoisseurs now.
I gotta be real. This is where pedigree plays a big factor, right? Because I probably would look at this game, looks cute, and moved on. Hearing it's from the Mania team, who kind of made me get 2D Sonic alongside Superstars, I was like, okay, like there's a quality attached here. Like, let's check this one out, right? So, yeah, I'm gonna look at it. I'm allowed to say, but like I am playing Rebirth. I reviewed it over on Retro Rebound, so I've had my hands full. I haven't beat it yet, so just to be clear, I only got like 40 something hours into it, but.
It's the first time I ain't gonna front. Like, it's the first time I'm really jealous of you right now. Like, it's the first, like, I really...
Wait till you find out when they gave it to me.
Oh, okay. We'll talk.
Yeah, wait till you find out when they gave it to me, because that was... I mean, like, you might get a little... Yeah, they gave it to us mad early. But Tekken 8 just disrupted all of that, bro. I just couldn't pull myself away. We'll talk about that later. But, yeah, just a lot going on right now. A lot of decisions being made, business decisions being made. RK certainly understand where... This is one of those games, yeah, of course I would love to play, but I just know I'm not going to have the time to right now because I'm just invested in these other big games. So I'm probably going to have to wait till things slow down a little bit more.
That's fair. You got a lot on your plate, man. Listen, man, if RK says it, and that's Lord, I call him affectionately in our meetings, our writers' meetings, Lord Sonic himself. It's definitely I got to pay attention now. I had no idea. Like I learned more about Sonic every day and the teams involved with him. So I got to see what's going on now.
Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection was announced, and that is the one that out of anything that's been announced, Cog. Anything. Announcement of the day. 100%. Elden Ring DLC. No, thank you. Shin Megami Tensei 5. No, thank you. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection. Are you shitting me? Now, we do have a write in here from Brian.
Mm-hmm. Let's go.
No crossplay for Battlefront. Massive L from Aspire, to be honest. This is a fair point. However, this comes to Battlefront 1, 2, all of the DLC. Multiplayer is back. Like, I didn't think this was possible, right? Wow. EA and their Battlefronts, I thought, bet that this could never happen. The fact that they're doing this and preserving these are like childhood gems, man.
Break it down to me, because you're part of this community. I need to know. I knew it was big, but I need to understand the magnitude.
So, all right. The best way I can describe it first is how I was introduced to it, and then what it means to people. So, like, Battlefront, I found out about when I was in second grade. I was talking to this kid, Gary. I always said, like, yeah, because I was talking to him about, I think, Star Wars Clone Wars, one of the launch games for the original Xbox with the Tetris. It was the double pack. And I remember saying to him how I wish there was a game that you just play as like the common stormtrooper or clone trooper. Like, I wish that was a thing. And he went, oh, there is that. What? He's like, yeah, Star Wars Battlefront. And so this was in the day and age where, as a very young kid, games either exist in flyers, the occasional magazine, and that's really it. Like, I didn't go on the internet often. I didn't know how to search up for these games. So if I didn't see it in those, it was literally just this figment of my imagination. Like, before I found Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, I always said, I want to choose your own adventure game is what I call it.
Oh, I love those.
And then I stumbled upon this game. I went, oh, it's Star Wars. So I picked it up because of that. And it was as I would call it back then, a choose your own adventure game, an RPG, right? So that's how limited my awareness of games was as a kid. And so my friend just tells me down the grapevine about this thing where you get to play as the common soldier. So me not knowing what it is, I tell my parents, it was my birthday coming up. I was like, yeah, I want Star Wars Battlefront. Like, my friend told me about it. And when you get that gift and it's like, like your idea materializes before you, it's like, oh my God, it is real. It is real. And it's here. And so, yeah, Star Wars Battlefront is, a game that I've spent hundreds of hours on. Good arcadey fun. You play as one of the four factions. You're the Rebels, the Empire, Clone Troopers, the Droids. Play as one of the four of them on these maps. There's various modes, but I think the defining quality of Battlefront that's missing in the modern ones is galactic conquest. Kind of this strategy, apologies for my dog. This is kind of like strategy mode where you have two factions opposing each other. You have these planets that you fight for on like the territory of. And when you control them, you gradually get points. You can spend them on like reinforcements for like future battles. You can spend them on like heroes to help you out. Like there's a layer of strategy there.
A lot of strategy layer. Yeah.
It's awesome. There's space battles. Like it is bringing Star Wars, like those skirmishes that you saw in the movies. It's bringing those to life now.
Oh, that's fire.
And so, yeah, it's incredible. To know that it's coming out so soon. I'm going to be all over this one. All over this one. They were even promoting like the trophies and achievements in the blog post announcement. So, very excited about that.
We are confirming outside of the Switch also for the major platform holders, or this is just...
Yeah. Switch. This is on Xbox, PlayStation as well. This is going everywhere. This is an Aspire game. Yeah.
So the only thing is just that there's no cross play between the three. No cross play,
unfortunately.
So each one's ecosystem. Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah. And then SMT5, for my Xbox fans out there, I know many of you are probably going to be playing Elden Ring, but for those who don't give a shit, SMT5 was one of my top 5 games of the year when it came out. That is an awesome video game. It brings a lot of the style and flair from Persona into SMT, but it still contains that kind of like, I'm going to kick the shit out of you type energy SMT is known for, and it'll knock you out no problem. I played that game on easy. I'm not ashamed to admit it. Like that game is really difficult. SMT5 though is really good. Story is surprisingly good. It's a lot of choices, and it's kind of post-apocalyptic, which caught my attention more than anything. I had only played SMT4 Apocalypse leading into this release. And I didn't realize, but this is like kind of a big part of the series. And with SMT5 being a little more open world, when you're roaming like these deserts and there's nothing there but a couple landmarks, it's very Fallout meets JRPG. Like it's really cool. Definitely. Really cool, but it's got Pokemon elements to it. I know for SMT hardcore fans, I'm saying what everyone's already known for a while, but for me, I didn't know any of this. I was a Persona fan, right? So SMT5 is fantastic. Do not sleep on it. And I know it's been rumored for a while. It's been on the way to Xbox and PlayStation, but I don't know much about the new content. But base game, I can definitely attest that it is fantastic.
Nice.
All right, we have this here, and Cog is the Sega kid. I really need your thoughts on this, because I'm going to preface this by saying that on paper, this may be, when it comes to Jet Set, might I specify, the worst ever video game idea I have read in my entire life. I swear on my life. We're going to go through it here.
Let's go through it.
A new Crazy Taxi game will be AAA, according to Sega. According to Midori on Twitter, the same individual who leaked the Answer DLC coming to Persona 3 Reload, the game is modeled after a AAA live service game like Fortnite, with plans for live events, collaborations, and customization. The current plan is to create a live service game-as-a-service reboot, as well as a remake of the original. Also, there will be a 100-person survival mode, it is claimed. Separately, this is just disgusting. Separately, this individual states that Jet Set is also a live service game more closely inspired by Fortnite, with shooting elements incorporated. There will be graffiti, open world exploration alongside a new character and stories. We got to write him first. I'll save my bars. Eugene. Hi, Dukes. First time, long time. Am I crazy, or is this Crazy Taxi AAA story crazy? I assume that Sega was working on bringing back a bunch of smaller games at $60 as a way to mitigate this financial distress, but it appears that Sega believes it can make a AAA Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio, which is one of the funniest things I've ever read, have a weird Sega monkey's paw kind of day. So, Cog, you're the Sega kid. I want you to have free reign on this topic and just go where you please with it. How do you feel about now? We see like the reboots were here, the new games are here. We shed a tear over them. Yes. Your Shinobi's looking pretty safe right now. How are we feeling learning that Jet Set and Crazy Taxi might be AAA live service games?
I like the AAA part. I like that. That sounds cool. You know, graphical fidelity, production value. You know, if you got this little extra bread, maybe you call up Offspring and do that intro again. That, you know, yeah, whatever that joint was. Look, the gut reaction is I don't like it. Right? I don't like the idea of the live service thing inside these classic beloved games, and just make a game in the spirit of the original and, with modern sensibility is what I would have preferred. But in fairness, I will say this, I got to catch myself. This is Cog now having to check himself. And the reason why is there was F-Zero that came out for the original. Oh, he's going digging in the crates. He's digging in the crates right now. F-Zero that came out for the the original Super Nintendo was one of the earlier launch titles. Phenomenal game. I had a special place for my heart as far as the graphical fidelity of Nintendo at the time. And I've always wanted them to remake it. And recently, there was a Nintendo Direct maybe, a couple of months back, 6 months back last year. Excuse me. And they were like, F-Zero's coming back, baby. And I'm like, oh, I go crazy. I'm like, yo, someone thought of my little indie cut game that I used to love. F-Zero 99 Battle Royale. And I'm like, what? What are you doing? Like, I was furious, right? So I sat there, I hemmed, I hawed, I stewed. I was like, what are they doing? And lo and behold, Manny, comes out of the Nintendo shop. So the curiosity, just because I love the game, I just need to see how it was. Manny, I ain't going front. I had a ton of fun with it. And it's probably one of the reasons I still touch a Nintendo Switch right now until the new one comes out. Okay. So I'm going to reserve judgment until I get the product in hand. On paper, it sounds like, what the hell are you doing? But I have learned that sometimes I jump out the window too early when I love something. So I'm just going to chill for now. But I get it. And everyone else like, yo, fam, what are y'all doing? I get it. See, you in a different pocket. Because like Crazy Taxi, I'm more of a Crazy Taxi guy than I'm Jet Set Radio. Not that I don't like Jet Set Radio. I just didn't play a lot of it, right? So I had Taxi, and I remember, go pick up the customers. It's a fun little thing to do. It's cool. Like, I could kind of see that more being able to spin off into something live servicey. But Jet Set seems a bit sacrilegious. Like, that seems a bit you violating a little bit. So I'll be open the floor to you. You are the Jet Set Radio expert. This is what you do. How are you processing this?
Well, I guess you could say they're high rolling. This is Crazy Taxi 3 High Roller, nice, for those who don't have the video up. Yeah, I just had to pull that off the shelf for a little shitty joke. That. That's fine. Okay, so I guess my expectation was your moneymaker is based off your earnings reports. The reason you said you could do these games was because of Persona, Sonic, like these were the big ones, right? So I thought if you're going to do like AAA, big budget, it's going to go to those series, right? Crazy Taxi, Jet Set, Golden Axe, Shinobi, all these games, I thought would fall more in a AA pocket where they're safer experiments that kind of lift up the margins because they're more like intermittent releases as you wait for the big thing. That's my own assumption. That doesn't mean I'm pissed because that's wrong. It seems I'm happy to hear, okay, they're going to put more money into these. It's just that there's a trade-off now. It means that it's going to be always online. It means that what they put in, they're expecting back. It means that I don't know how you revive the original Crazy Taxi and then make it a game. That's not the original. That's not the original Crazy Taxi. I don't know. Again, I'll jump out the window. I don't know how you make Jet Set live service. That's a fucking leap, man. I don't need to know shit about the game to know that's a leap. Like what? We're going to have every character is assigned to a gang at the start. It's going to be some MMO like shit because look, I'm just going to tell you all right now. If this made you sick to your stomach, I'm going to tell you about a game called Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. I reviewed it last year. It came out in August. It is the Jet Set Radio sequel you were looking for. It is fantastic. It's from Reptile Games. They have the composer from Jet Set. They have the art style from Jet Set. Like, it's all there. And the story rocks. Like, it's an amazing game. I'm going to obviously play this new Jet Set. I love Jet Set. It's one of my first core memories with the original Xbox. I am not going to act like I'm not super disappointed they're making a fucking live service. The other thing, Fortnite guns? Dude, the rebellious spirit of Jet Set was always expressed through graffiti and art. That was the rebellious spirit. Not fucking shooting shit. That was never it. You missed the whole plot. I can already tell you, you missed the whole plot. I don't even need to see this game to know you missed the plot. If you're giving a character a fucking gun, that's all there is to it. It's over. Unless we're shooting graffiti, unless it's like Splatoon, heaven forbid.
Listen, I feel you. And that's the concern. That's the worry. And I guess what it now concerns me is too many corporate types talking about, look, we are sitting on these gold mines of IPs and we could live service thing. Look at all the revenue we could generate. And that this gets me to question Super Game. This gets me to question
it's got to be live service, right?
Exactly. And that's because they're seeing the Fortnite and they're like, we could do that too. We've got these IPs that we can stuff into this, was it the round, square hole, circle?
Yeah, I'm expecting Super Game to almost be this Disney Infinity-like game where just they take all of the Sega IP and they're just pouring them in there. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
I know what you mean.
Come get these figures, guys. The new Super Game.
The Super Game. Like,
man.
I go for it. Now this guy's my antennas up on intent and the purity of the actual reimagining of what these titles were supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it seems like Shinobi's not part of that, but, now you never know. We got to wait until the details come out. Live service Shinobi, 50,000 ninjas going on this. I don't know. Like, they haven't said anything to that effect, but, now I have to look at everything with that live service eye based on the way this is moving, of course.
I hope for your sake Shinobi is safe. I do.
I hope so. Man.
I already know they're about to kick the shit out of my franchise. I like them.
Bro, I feel your pain.
It's funny right now. You get a good Sonic game, and then they take Jet Set back. I'm like, man, Sega's riding a high right now. Can't wait to. Nope. Nope. I'll keep an open mind, but just I am very much going my defense up already.
I feel you. Fair enough. No, absolutely. If I heard this for my favorite, I would definitely be defense up on this for sure.
Couple little updates that I had from our notes in past weeks. I just wanted to make sure we address them for posterity's sake. Avowed won't have romance. Maddie W. Told y'all. Told y'all. It's not necessary. Man. Not needed.
I gotta stop playing, man. Come on. Y'all know what we want. Stop playing, man. But all right. I guess I'm gonna still play it.
See, I think the Outer Worlds got it right. I think that you can tell romance style stories. They just don't have to involve you.
Okay. Parvati living through somebody else. Now I ain't even gonna say the word, but we gonna move on. We gonna move on.
Yeah. I'm sorry to my romance bros out there. I know you all like to shag in your games.
That's right.
Don't worry. It'll be okay. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth sold 1 million copies, as did Persona 3 Reload, making Persona 3 Reload the fastest selling Atlas game ever. Well, you look at that, Cog. Both our teams are doing pretty well here. Yeah. I'm wondering what is considered successful for each, right? As in, like, Infinite Wealth, man, they pumped the marketing big time, right? They threw a lot of money into Infinite Wealth. I mean, they got like celebrities doing commercials for both these games. Like it's on, man. So I wonder if 1 million's enough. But what do you think of this?
I'm with you. I think for Persona, that's the look, right?
Yeah.
You like Persona 3 Reload. There's a demand there. I'm gonna be real. Infinite Wealth, I don't think they're jumping for joy like that. I think they want bigger. The marketing push that they had, I mean, obviously I was part of one of them, you know what I'm saying? My little minuscule part.
I was part of Personas. So
you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
doing our part.
we did our part, right? So, I love that one. So like, to me, I saw the levels they were going with Infinite. They want this thing to be big. And another thing now I got to look at, Tekken. I don't know if you saw them Tekken 8 numbers.
Boy, it's Tekken 8 numbers.
Oh boy, like 2 million in like 2 weeks or something crazy. Tekken 8 ain't playing.
Let's go.
Like it is an unmitigated success. And guess who decided to launch on the same day? Infinite Wealth. Remember, my two favorites dropped pretty, close. So I'm just like,
an Atlas drop or a Sega dropped these two within a week of each other as well.
Yeah. So I am worrying about that. We got to see how this thing plays out with Infinite Wealth.
Yeah.
And I have a lot to say about it later.
Yeah, we'll see. Because they definitely put a lot into both. Like Persona 3 Reload had way more, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. We had way more enhancements and additions than I ever expected. Lots of voice acting. Like it was definitely a higher budget project than I expected for what was supposed to be in my head like a really easy remake. So they went above and beyond in my eyes. So I wonder too, but for that to be the fastest selling Persona game, it shows that people are jonesing for that series, and that no doubt when 6 comes around, it's going to do something special for them.
Huge.
Kadokawa Corporation, the parent company of Elden Ring developer From Software, has acquired the studio behind Octopath Traveler. But this is kind of noteworthy. An acquisition happened. Of course, we always like to talk about those, especially because it really is. I think our audience is most familiar with acquisitions in the gaming space. But this could be a pretty significant loss for Square Enix if a partnership isn't struck here. Octopath Traveler is fantastic. And I don't know if this means they have other plans for them or they're going to send them on something else. But this is... I mean, this could mean that Octopath Traveler 2, which apparently didn't sell as incredibly well as it should have, there may not be a third one. And I will just say that part of what I loved about 2 so much is you could see the vision of like how they built off of the original and where they were going to go. Like you could feel technology was really progressing. So I wonder if this kind of puts a bullet in Octopath 3 as they work on something specifically for Kadokawa. But any thoughts on this COG Lord acquisition?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it to my attention. The acquisitions. I always like to know what's going on. This what I missed. Yeah, Octopath Traveler, unsung heroes that I feel like don't get the recognition they deserve. And I don't know if the relationship with Square had anything to do with this. I would hope that 3 can happen, but again, I don't know the legalities about who owns said IP and. I don't know if it's, they get to go and leave with it. I don't know what the situation is.
It actually says right here that that Square Enix has the trademark for it. So they could continue Octopath. They just wouldn't have Acquire do it, who is the team that was behind it. Sorry, continue.
Got it. Oh, wait, repeat that last part again. I'm sorry.
It says the Octopath Traveler series popularized the HD 2D visual style now used by Square Enix and other games and trademark. Sorry, that was for the art style. Continue. Ignore what I just said.
No, you good. No, I was I just wanted to reinforce that. Who has the IP? Is it them or?
I
guess I'm very curious as far as for example, now that what is it? Kadokawa, the parent company of Elden Ring Frost, they have acquired them. Does that mean they can do an Octopath Traveler 3, or is it something based on the relationship with Square that they're getting the talent and the talent we can have to just make a new game, so to speak,
Yeah, because right now the reasoning behind the acquisition, they say, is to strengthen the ability to create IP and games as part of our game business strategy. We have made Acquire Corp into a wholly owned subsidiary. By acquiring the company, which has produced million-seller hit titles, we expect to generate synergies with our existing game-related subsidiaries, strengthen our planning and development capabilities group-wide, and enhance our lineup of console games. So
we just got to see. We got to see. I don't know yet. Yeah.
It's hard to say who. I can just Google it real quick.
Yeah.
Who owns
the talent?
Octopath Traveler IP? That was actually
the talent speaks for itselp.
Let's see here. Doesn't say.
Yeah,
doesn't say. I would imagine that the IP belongs to Nintendo or Square, though. That would be my guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm figuring. But my gut feels like they probably couldn't walk away with it.
Yeah.
And if I had to guess, I would have just assumed that you get the talent, but they can make their next new situation and maybe get the push from Software is hot out here, maybe they get the push they need. Maybe they felt they was getting buried within the restructure of how Square's handled it. So
last one here, and then we'll talk about what games are playing. Disney has invested $1.5 billion in Epic to create a new universe connected to Fortnite. And this is a pretty big deal, I think, because we saw what the Lego game did for Epic and Fortnite, and so to kind of throw this in with Disney now. I mean, these companies are straight up throwing so much money at Epic that they're just having Fortnite build out into these separate games. Like, we've never seen anything quite like this before. We know Disney's bullish on this sort of thing. Like I talked about Disney Infinity just a little bit ago. There's that as an example. Kingdom Hearts is another example. This could be that. It was Dreamlight Valley, which is on Game Pass, and that's another pretty good game. So this is just in line with what they like to do, which is have all their IP exist in one platform, world, place, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I'm keen to see what this turns out to be. But any thoughts on this, CoD?
Yeah, we talked about it briefly at IP a couple of weeks ago, and we just the tremendous investment Disney sees in just expanding on this relationship. Obviously, the Lego stuff we saw before, these separate worlds that exist outside of just the main Fortnite game. Obviously, we're going to see a continued collaboration. Also, look at the Unreal Engine aspect. Disney, as far as in filmmaking, is utilizing the tech. So there is a marriage that is there that they are really expanding, and Disney wants their foot, their piece of the pie as far as what's going on. So yeah, this is a big deal. They are partnering. This is a big investment into Epic. I got some people over there and they seem pretty jazzed up about it. So yeah, salute to Epic. It's one of those things in gaming, man. It's an inflection point in gaming. What Fortnite has done for the industry still to this day is just tremendous. It's birthed so many different things.
All right, let's take a break from the news, Cog. Let's talk a bit about video games we're playing. We haven't had a chance to do this for a while now, so I'd love to hear from you. I see you've made tremendous progress, so let's hear. What did you do, man?
Doing a lot of gaming, a ton of gaming. I've been off social media, but I've been gaming like a... So yeah, I got the Like a Dragon, the Infinite Wealth is finished. Man, you better have some time on your hands for this. This game long, y'all. If I had to guess, I'll probably put in about 50 plus hours.
Wow.
And I didn't scratch the surface of everything. I would say I really didn't do a lot of the Dundoko Island stuff. There was still a ton of mini games I didn't do. I will say your boy is a Sujimon addict. They have a Pokemon ripoff in it called Sujimon. And you literally get to recruit, and every battle, it could happen after you get to a certain part of the game. It's hilarious. And the way they do this Sujimon, this battle, it is turn-based addictive goodness. And once you understand the rule set, you get a set of 3 characters in the front, set of 3 guys in the back. They got elements. You got to pick, okay, that side got that element. You got to have dudes on your bench. Like, it's a thing. Like, and it's cinematic, it's fun, and you try to, after you, and then in the regular battles, when you beat certain bosses and stuff like that, they have the option to become Sujimon characters in the other game, which is hilarious. But anyway, back to the main thing. Look, this game, I got so many thoughts, man. I'll try to compartmentalize as best I can. They are undertaking a lot. This is theoretically 2 games in one, with Kiryu and obviously Ichiban. And I'm not going to spoil. I'm not going to get into the specifics. Hawaii is phenomenal. The backdrop is phenomenal. Learn about the culture. They got this silly thing when you walk up to people, and it's like you do the aloha thing, and it's like an app, and it's hilarious, right? You got that. The combat is now masterclass. That is what kept me in this game for so long, because now besides the classic turn-based, you have the movement system where you can move around, position around the enemy. You can get back attacks for more damage. The thing that I like is every mini game, companion drink link, where you learn more about your companions from the first Like a Dragon. I mean, they had this before, but it's just implemented so much better, where now when you form these relationships, they do extra combos if someone falls to the ground. They do tag team abilities together that are different from using your supers and stuff like that. Kiryu, the way he plays is completely different. And I love that aspect. Now, as the game goes on, for guys who did, this game is a love letter for me, for guys who didn't play the older Yakuzas. Without spoiling too much, there's going to be a section in the game where it's like memory lane. Yo, remember when you did this and da-da-da-da? And Kiryu fans, y'all going to get y'all just do. Y'all gonna get your just due. There are so many callbacks. There's the way it's handled, his story with reverence is dope. Ichiban is just like this. I don't want to spoil too much. I don't want to give story plots away. But the way his is handled is cool because you learn why he is the way he is and what he brings to the table. So here's the thing. The game is dope. It does have some pacing issues, though. The pacing.
I'm shocked.
The pacing, right? It's just there's parts where you're like, okay, boom, 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 boom. They'll have you do some other things, mini games, whatever. They get you in. But then there's times you're like, okay, I need to. You know what the game suffers from? You ever play games where it's like, yo, the universe got to get saved. But yo, right quick, let's go over to the bar and let's chill for a second.
Yeah.
You know them games where it's like, all right, but what about the imminent threat? Like, why are we not? So you gotta suspend disbelief on certain things because you like, bro, you know this ain't really how it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like y'all would have lost or what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got that aspect. I will say this: there's some tear-jerking parts.
Okay.
Some really emotional beats. There's some absolutely hold your side laughing parts.
Wow.
The game is a beautiful game. Oh, here's the thing I do want to say this from a narrative standpoint. I came into this game knowing that there are going to be a lot of characters in it, right? A lot of old favorites returning from the old Like a Dragon. I will say, this is where the strength of the game. They start you off, and you start off with kind of two of the newer characters without spoiling.
Mm-hmm.
Those characters are so well written and so dope and they're so complex that you're like, yo, I don't know if I can keep them out my party. Like, I love these two. They are ridiculous. It's such a motley crew, but it's so well done. Their characters, then you got some flashback from some OGs in this game. Look, to wrap it up, is it perfect? No, it's got its issues. I'm not going to say that. The ending, there are going to be some people who feel they want a little more with certain aspects of it, but I thought they told the story what they were trying to do. This was a huge undertaking. And again, marrying both worlds of two major characters and major locales is a lot. There were times where I was like, okay, but there was times like, oh, okay, y'all did it. Y'all synergized it. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Last thing, boss battles. God tier, edge of your seat. Oh, the best part of the game, besides the battle, the challenge. This game is tough.
Okay.
Oh, let me tell you, you're going to have to grind. If you think, this is when I knew the game was real. You got, no, not grinding that. Oh, they got a joke for you. I'm going to spoil one mini spoil. There's a part where the game say, yeah, you're going to have to raise X amount in order to advance. And you go, oh no, they did it again. Oh no, they did this BS again. I just so happen to have this amount of money. All right. Do the money. Oh, we just testing you. Here you go. Someone must have gave them feedback on this. I was just testing to see how real you was, if you really was about what you was about to said you wanted to do, and now we're gonna give you your money back. I was like, yo, this game is crazy. But now let's get to the best full part. So I told you about the comments fire, the moves, specials, all that. Every ass pound mate's hilarious. Everything's fire. Combat, God tip. This right here game literally makes you feel. All my people who live in urban environments, you know this thing where there's certain blocks you shouldn't be around, right? Now, in the lower right-hand corner, you'll see the threat level, right? When you see that threat level throbbing and flashing, that's not the area for you. And you better not bother nobody. If you see dudes that run around as dudes with the red that you know them the enemies, and if you see a purple, if you see people walking around with purple, they walking down the block, and they yo, bro, what's up? You don't do it. I sat there because my ego got the best of me, and I'm like, nah, they ain't going. Oh no! And then in Yakuza, not only you get beat, you get robbed. They take half your money.
Yeah, they take your money.
So you ain't if you ain't got no ATM situation going on, there's areas where the threat level, you feel it. You like, oh my God. So it helps you if you grind, because when you come back or you've been grinding, you like, yeah, now what? Now you ain't purple no more. You red. But I will say this. If you see, not only if they purple, if you see they got a gold crown on their head, and it's like, and you get the enemy's so gangster, they be chilling on a block like this. I want you to pass through this block, and they'll put them in front of areas where you need to get to. They be like, yeah, come through. What's up? I see you. We ain't even gonna move around and chase you. Then they got other dudes where they got this thing where I call like, it's like when the threat, sometimes they're like what I call like SOS beef, where the word goes out, yo, Ichiban and them dudes is here. They got a situation, man. I've never seen this in a game, where they got 4 goons in a car circling, jump out the block, stop, and then run towards you. yo, like they give urban beef. They got it down. They understand that's how it is in the streets of New York. When you see dudes and you like, oh no, that's them. Like they got literal terror in this game. So I love the way they did it. So a shout out to them again. I have more thoughts. Anybody, if the crew wants to do a spoiler cast, COG is available. Just whenever y'all ready. I know Gene had it early, whatever. But yeah, it's a great game. Got its flaws, but I really enjoyed the ride. They tell a fantastic story.
So it lived up to your personal hype overall? Yeah,
I will say though, I can't. If I had my early impressions right now, because I just ended it yesterday, I can't say this is like game of the year. I can't, because there's a couple of missteps that I feel. Like I said, with the pacing, but for the purists, the guys that follow these characters and their story, you're going to see some things and you're going to see how they develop stuff. But that's where I'm at right now. Give me a little bit more time to marinate. I'm going to try to because it's raw. I just did all, and it was a long adventure, but it was worth the ride for sure.
Would you like it more than the first Like a Dragon?
It's a good one. I think the first one's story was more cohesive. I just think what it is, they really wanted to do this epic blockbuster. But the problem is they're trying to fit all these storylines into and make it seamless, right? And then there's one little thing that I feel that there's a reunion that I felt, in my opinion, outside of 1 or 2 scenes that I thought were really heartfelt and touching in this reunion, really needed to be expounded upon more. And I'll just say one thing. Kiryu gets his. I will say, and this is not me hating on, like, no beef. We good, Kiryu. We good. Like, I ain't got no. There's Ichi, I feel, with certain things, they needed to expound more on. Stop it. They needed to expound more on. I know you be a mess.
Yakuza 9, Kiryu story.
Well, you're going to see. I got to put no spoilers. But, there were some little things that I just wish I had. Just give us a little bit more, because this is too important for just this one little thing. And we need to know what happened after. So that's it. That's minor critiques, because I'm so hard at them. I know how good they are. But great game. And I will say I did English dub. I did English. I gotta give Young. He got better as the game went on. He was way better than this than he was in Gaiden. He got better. Like I'm because I couldn't get away. Kaiji 10 is literally Ichiban to me. So for me to not hear the English dub, and I know people are like, oh, sacrilegious, I would never do. I get it, but that's how I experienced Like a Dragon, the first one, for the first time. So Ichiban and his voice, Kaiji 10's voice is just synonymous with me. He gold tier with what he's done, like everything he did voice acting wise. Yeah. But shout out to Young, he did way better. Have to give him that. They were part-time. Nice. But anyway, that was that. And then your boy, man, Tekken 8, still competitive now. Now, like I said, finished the game, platinum, or whatever the kids call it, whatever. Got all achievements. The PvP scene, the fighting game scene, the ranked scene is so good. You learn so much.
So
and
diverse.
Oh man, it is beast. My Harang is getting there. My Link Shalang is crazy fighting shit. But now what we do now is we bring back the weekly rotation with the homies. We're doing player matches. We get about 8 or 9. We have actually, you can do up to 16 in a room and split them up into groups. And then what I love is everybody could spectate the match while they're waiting for their next turn up.
So good. I've used it like every night since the game's come out. It's so good. Yeah, it
is so good. So shout out to Tekken. And then they just dropped. I watched. They had a stream. The game is doing phenomenal. They've got this whole roadmap. Maddie likes roadmaps. Roadmaps.
Fill me in. I didn't catch any of this.
Tons of stuff they're about to add. They're about to add online practice. They've got They talk about the competitive scene. They talk. All right, now here's the thing. Now we got to get ready now. They're bringing in Tekken Shop. They're bringing in Tekken Shop. There's some little talk online because now apparently all the classic outfits from Tekken 3, Tekken 4, little price tag if you want to put it on your character, if to fight with, or your avatar. Some stuff they're giving away for free, but definitely we know what's happening here. Like they know they cashing it. They got their physical edition. They're selling the soundtrack. They're doing quick on the updates, quick on the balancing. They're killing that. Obviously, they gave us more preview of DLC 1 with Eddie. And they're going to have more for the rest of the year. But I'm going to tell you right now, like, Tekken's here to stay. They know it. They sense it. The game is phenomenal. And, me and the crew, usually Fridays, we try to do player matches, usually Friday evening. So a couple people hit me up, if you're a Tekken main, what we got to do. And then, the fact that we've been doing it cross-platform and we've tested with stability is phenomenal. So shout out O'Connor hit me up, one of his homies, who's a tall, hardcore Tekken fan, that I met at the wedding. He goes hard with Tekken. He was we was playing. We was getting there. He was like, "Yo, you a beast with your leech." I said, "You didn't even see my heart yet." Yeah.
I'm looking at this Tekken shop image, and they literally got like a avatar storefront with Uniqlo promotion. I love Uniqlo, so I'm just like, damn.
Bro, I already know I'm about to blow some cash. So yeah, man, I've been playing like a ton. Like I said, it's been Infinite Wealth now that I got that. And the main reason I wanted to get that is because I know I got Rebirth coming, and unlike some, I didn't get the code. But you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to clear out Like a Dragon because I knew it was. But I will say, I forgot to mention, with Like a Dragon, the grind is so worth it. The weapons, the crafting. Oh man, like you could create some sick builds and synergies with magic and abilities and things that give ailments to characters. Combat is world class. Like I really think they've leveled up. Like it's that good. But that's pretty much what I've been rocking.
All right. Yeah, I got a lot to go through myself here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got a lot.
Yeah, so Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's been, or a lot of time has been spent. I was irresponsible, bro. I'm not going to lie, because I have a lot to say here. I did put my hours in, but I probably could have finished this game if I was a little more responsible with Tekken 8. Like, I'm going to be real. Like, I got this game. The problem was I got it way earlier than I expected. I even think I was going to get a code. I get an email. It's like February 9th, and they're like, hey, here you go. And I'm like,
proud of you.
I'm like, dude, wait. I was like, no, I just started Tekken 8. Like, I've only like 8 days into this game. This is like one of my most anticipated games since it was announced. I can't just drop it because you just did this to me. Like, I don't want to sound ungrateful. I was like, I need to make a business decision for myself here and just I thought of you. I was like, I got to play what I want to play right now. I was like, I can't. I love Tekken. I haven't finished it. I haven't done the story or anything yet. I've just played like 40 hours of strict online play. And I'm just like, I'll talk about it a little bit, but yeah, it's really tough for me to pull away from it. I have what I call Tekken brain rot.
Yes.
So I played about 40 hours of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And
you allowed, sir? Are you allowed? I won't get you in trouble. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was trying to. I know you normally good with this stuff. I just got nervous for some stupid reason.
Yeah, no, the embargo will be up by the time our episode goes out.
Oh, we late.
Yeah,
continue.
Yeah, so we're good.
Let's go.
Yeah, I appreciate you looking out for me. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I think. So I haven't finished the story, which I think is going to be kind of the defining quality. Like when we finished Remake, there was that. Oh, that didn't. I'm not going to spoil it. Like we didn't know where it was going after it finished. It wasn't your traditional remake like we expected. So we knew there's going to be a lot of changes here. And that created like a mixture of anxiety and excitement. And so Rebirth is like the culmination of that. Like, okay, what direction are they going to go in? So I don't know how this one ends yet, where I think that's going to sway a lot of my opinion. I still plan to do like a final verdict video for Mr. Matty once I finish it up and have the story completed to deliver some final thoughts. But Retro Rebound will have the review impressions because that's where the code was given to. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, 40 hours in. Chapter 8 right now. I don't know how many chapters are in the game, but oh man, it is good. I am loving this game, Cog. I am really, really, really impressed.
Stop.
So hard to find a spot where to start. I'll say that the story, from what I've seen thus far, they don't deviate as aggressively and as early. It's over time, and it's definitely in little hints and scenes here or there. But for the most part, it's kind of like that section of Final Fantasy VII you knew and loved, which more true to remake there, but then a lot of extra scenes, a lot of extra interactions. Like it's still very new, but the beats and where you go and how you get there, like a lot of that will be somewhat familiar to a degree.
Just to interrupt, because they go from the demo, because I did the demo.
I never even did the demo, so.
Oh, so I did the demo. So let me give, because this is public knowledge. And shout out to Brad, because we did the spoiler cast with. I did another subject side with him. Okay. And Attic was on that one. Awesome. So they did the classic, the Nibelheim joint.
Yes.
Where they go back.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the opening of the game. That's the opening of the game, and so Crisis Core fans. Demo, like, continues on. Oh, yeah. Woo. Feast. It was such a good way to open the game. Like that got me hyped. Right. This game reminds me a lot of The Witcher 3, and I know that may be a negative comparison to some based on how you feel about CD Projekt Red's games. What I mean by that is the consistent quality across everything in the game is such at a high level that I'm stunned. This is a JRPG. I say that because JRPGs typically falter in a couple areas, and it's almost like a known trope of the genre. Like that. By that I mean like side content. Yakuza being an example of side content done really well. I don't think Final Fantasy with like 15, 16, 7 remake, like their side quests have always, in my opinion, and I know some people argue third act of Final Fantasy 16, but for the most part, I think 16 side quests are awful. I think most of Final Fantasy side quests are terrible. I've never enjoyed them. They've never been compelling. They've always been fetch quests, content patterns. They're just not worth it to me. And I love many of these games. But 7 Rebirth, I've done every side quest in this game. Wow. I am in the process of 100%ing the game. That's also why I kind of slowed down on my review, because I was like, this is like a kind of open world game. I'll get into how that's structured. And I'm doing everything. I'm doing every Queen's Blood battle. I'm doing every single objective on the map. I'm doing every side quest. Obviously, I'm doing the main story. Like, I'm just going through it all, man. And I'm enjoying every single step of the way. So yeah, the way it works is it's not like one massive true open world. I was on media blackout, so I don't know how many people know what I know about this, but I went in relatively blind. So it's not one true open world. It's like multiple zones, kind of like Final Fantasy 16, I guess. Except you can fast travel back to these zones at certain points in the story. You can unlock fast travel through certain side quests, and so they connects these regions a little bit more. And so what happens is it eventually forces you to go through with the story. Like you can't just, you talked about plot urgency. You don't really have, you have that here still. Like even if I go off the beaten track, I'm off the beaten track for like 3 hours maybe. And then I get back into the story. Like there's eventually let's move on. And much like Final Fantasy 7 Remake, where there were like very long dungeons that I think can disrupt the pacing a little bit. There are points where they just keep you in that story for a while, and it just keeps going until you get to another open world section. So I found the pacing to be pretty remarkable for an open world game. Like I really stayed connected with the story and the characters and the urgency of the plot, especially because all the side quests are connected to the plot. So it's, a worthwhile thing to do. But yeah, I got to say the story, the interactions are phenomenal. The motion capture really elevates it. Like these characters are so lifelike, such personalities. Cloud is hilarious. Oh, yeah? His interactions with Yuffie are so good, just because he's so cold and detached. She is so out there. Like this game is so funny. I'll leave those moments to those of you listening to explore for yourself.
Did you get to my man? Did you get to my man Vincent yet? Or not yet? Not yet.
I don't think he's not playable in this game.
Oh, but I'm just saying the appearance.
Oh, not yet.
Okay, I just was going. Okay, cool.
But I will say that who is there has been just fantastic. Yeah,
fair.
Yeah, just really great character development. I there's so much stuff I wish I could talk about that I can't. But yeah, this game has really delivered in my opinion so far. I gotta see how the game ends. I think everyone who's played Final Fantasy 7 knows like there's a lot of question marks about what are they going to do here, and so I'll just leave it at that.
Nice.
Gameplay though, this is like the Kingdom Hearts 2 moment for the series, man. Like it's very fluid and fast and reactive and aerial based, and there's SP. It's a ton of fun. Like every engagement is a ton of fun. The reason the open world works for me is because the mechanics of the game are so strong. So it's a very simple open world structure in that you find your tower, you climb it, you hit a switch, tower puts icons on your map, and you track those down. Classic. When I first saw that, I'm thinking, yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, this is pretty classic formula here. But as I always say, it's about the way you engage in things. Because the combat for 7 Rebirth is so good,
Yeah,
I don't care that one of the open world objectives is just fighting. Because the combat is so good, I always want to be doing that. So they have that. There are gimmicky ones like Chocobo Gathering, Moogle Gathering. There's, like I said, Queen's Blood, which is a whole-on Gwent-like card game. Like, it's incredible how dense this game is, and there's just so much going on. The music, oh my god, dude!
Yeah.
They cooked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this game has been fantastic. It has been. It has also not had as many AAA moments as what I like to call them as Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like, I feel this game really, like, spending time on big set pieces rather than just intimate character interaction. The game really hones in on the cast, the story, the people, not like big, crazy, weird gimmicks in the story. Like, they have one moment immediately in Calm where you're like stealthing, and it's such a Square Enix moment where I'm like, why'd you guys just not make this a cutscene? Like, this is so weird. So they still have those moments there in this game, but they're fewer and far between. So yeah, that's all I can really say on 7 Rebirths. Full impressions / review. Over on Retro Rebound if you want a little more context there. Tekken 8 though, man. Woo! The disruptor. It stopped me from doing my job. It stopped me from doing my job, man. I'm sick, man. I'm obsessed. I got to talk to you about this game, Cog, because I was thinking about you. I was just like, I just gotta know if I'm alone in this pocket. Like, is this the best fighting game we've ever played?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Right now, for me, as a 30-year vet of this game.
Yeah, you got way more experience. That's why I got to ask you.
From the very beginning, every iteration I've played, arcade included, I had to be honest. I was talking to the homies. I'm like, is it me or is this the GOAT?
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, yo, that's sacrilegious. And then we thought about it. And the only arguments you can make is that 3 was transformative and put them on the map and probably sold the most. 5 was a back return to form. I would say 7 saved the series after a disastrous Tekken Tag 2 because people didn't really want the tag. It was too complex. People just wanted one-on-one fighting.
Yeah.
But we talked about the obvious, the graphical fidelity. We talk about the characters. We talk about the systems, the heat, gameplay. I feel like then you marry what I feel is the evolution of fighting games, which is the Ghost Battle, the replay. Man, I gotta be with you. Like, I think they got it, man. I think right now, and I don't want to, I know the Street Fighter guys, salute. I don't want to be too disrespectful because y'all have a fantastic fighting game. But I just think as a complete package, narrative, everything, like there's nothing that it really doesn't have. The only thing I had to nitpick, and then I told you about music. So I mean,
I was listening to the gym today.
Bro, I got the whole joint. Like,
so good, yeah.
I got some bangers. Don't let that joint on the boat play. With Victor stage, don't let, like, certain stages are just crazy. And then you can use the jukebox feature.
Yeah.
Have you used the jukebox?
Customize. I customize my character select screen. I customize the main menu. Yeah, 100%. Got to set the vibe before I get into the lobby.
Set the vibe. And then I look at people's dudes running around here with Leon Kennedy. You got Harang looking like Leon Kennedy with the things you're able to do. So right now, we'll see how it goes, but I know how Tekken usually goes. Once this settles and they get the balancing down with certain characters and move lists that are a little oppressive for some people, I think Heat is the game changer for sure. And I gotta say, in my opinion, yes. My gut instinct says this is the GOAT. Tekken 8 is that game right now. It's definitive. So yes,
I agree.
But, yeah, that's where you at. And I can tell by how I'm playing it.
Yeah,
it hasn't stopped. Mortal Kombat, I played and then cooled off. Street Fighter, I played longer, but then cooled off. Not Tekken. It's like, boom, let's go. We're back.
Yeah.
And the addiction, I cannot stop.
Yeah, there's an energy to the game. And yeah, it's the thing is, it's very gripping, where I don't want to step away. I don't. Like, I've never, what I did with 7 Rebirth was one of my most anticipated games too. Like, I've never done that before. Anytime it's time for me to do my job, I've never just I always put aside my personal desires, my personal what I want to play. I'm like, for the better of the channel, but I was like, not this time. I can't.
Gotta interrupt once a y'all fire. I knew it was real. Remember, I had the decision. I said, okay, build the decision, beat the story of Tekken 8, because you didn't even get to that yet, right?
No, I haven't.
Oh, bro. Best net. Wait, I want to say that. Let me calm down. I will still give Mortal Kombat. Calm down, Carl. The best overall how to do a narrative. But with Tekken 8, said, you know what? They're them. That's movie. We gonna go full anime for the anime heads. And you're like, this is over the top, but I love it. Yeah. And then I'm going to tell you, the last 2 chapters, I had Randall Thor, who don't play these games like that. I had people call me up and say, yo, Carl, this Tekken. And I'm like, yeah. He was like, oh, these are the greatest boss battles. Oh my God, and the music, what is going on? And I'm like, yeah. And you going to see your system pushing things that you never seen pushed before. You going to hear music that's going to give you goosebumps. Maddie, you ain't do the story. I thought you did the story. Stop what you're doing.
I'm just obsessed playing the game, man.
I feel it is so good. Please just do the story, because then you're going to learn where they going with it. And like for the anime, they coming for your demographic. Because the purists like, I don't know what they're doing, whatever. But then they play it, it's like, yeah, this is kind of fun. Hey, go front. Something's ridiculous, over the top. You saw how it started off, because Jin throwing cars. We get that. They go full anime, and I love it. They're unabashed. But yes, please, man, you got it. It's short, like 4 hours. 4 hours. You knock that bad boy really out
quick. Yeah,
just do that story. They doing it. They doing it. But that's all I had to say. Yes, I will agree with you, because where I was supposed to interrupt and say was I had a plan. Infinite Wealth. I was going to do Tekken 8, beat the story, then all the time to Infinite Wealth. My gut says no. I don't want to play that. I want to play Tekken more.
It's like I'm doing a disservice to the game I'm reviewing by rushing that or forcing myself into that, even though I really like it, but I know I want to be somewhere else badly. And it's like, that hurts what I want to do. So it's like, I had to listen to my body. I was like, I need to feed it with some Tekken. Like, I just need to go play. Anytime I play Tekken, I had to get that out of my system, and then I go play Rebirth. And that's why my hour times was much shorter than it could have been.
Same. We in the same pocket.
Bro, it's crazy. Yeah. Tekken 8, man. I've been maining Claudio. Yeah, I dropped Dragunov. Yeah, we haven't talked because everything went to shit when we first started talking mains. I dropped Dragunov.
Okay.
I messed around with a couple others. But I was a Claudio main in 7.
Yeah.
And picked him back up here, and it was just like, it was like good old times again. I was thinking like, yeah, you just feel like I'm going to find my second main now, and I'm like, no one feels quite like my man. And I will be in a shitty spot if they never put him in a Tekken game moving forward, just because like he is my guy. Like
Claudio or Lars?
Claudio.
Okay, I got you.
Claudio, bro. He is
Claudio's beast.
Yeah, bro. He is so fun. Because here's the thing. I'm getting into the technicality of Tekken now, which I've never done before. Like 7, I played a lot of player matches with friends, and then we fell off after a little bit. We loved it. But with Tekken 8, I'm like watching pro videos. I'm learning about frame traps. Like I'm learning about all this stuff that I never cared about. But I'm like, I gotta get my game up. Like these, because the game is so competitive. Like with the ghost battles and stuff. Like you can practice against someone specifically. Like you can learn. You can watch like what I'm gonna do tonight. I have my night set. I'm gonna go watch the best Claudio replays. I'm gonna be like, all right, what are they doing?
Put them in the dojo. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. It's a game about learning. And what I realized is then I started messing with Victor. He's like one of the candidates right now. But he's a little too auto combo happy. But he's so fucking cool. But he's just so linear that I'm a little hesitant. Okay. But I was looking at Victor and like his way of movements and setups. I'm like, this is like a whole different game. I've spent like 30 hours just with Claudio, just figuring him out, peeling every layer back, learning everything. And now I'm going to another character. I'm like, okay, I have these fundamentals, but you are a whole different beast in a way of approaching and staggering and combos and setups. I'm like, wow. Like, and everyone's got their own strengths and weaknesses. Yes. So I'm having choice paralysis where I can't commit to the second main. I can't. I'm like 1 week I was like, yeah, Devil Jin's my god. No, now it's Victor. No, like I'm kind of looking at Lars again across the street. Like I'm not loyal right now. I just know Claudio's my guy. And I'm struggling, man.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have it, mate. You got Hwoarang and you got Lee. And these two are like, they kind of are unified. Like Lee is apparently really tough to learn, though. So I give you props for
Lee is high technical, both startup. But here's the thing: remember, as a Hwoarang main, he is completely redone. You cannot play the same way. His moveset is changed from only some core base moves, but old setups, they just don't work in Tekken 8. So you got to learn what the new stuff is and what he is now. And what you said best is each character. Learning a character in Tekken is an undertaking because you're like, okay, I got to be able to situationally know what to do here. Yeah. Defense, offense, also the heat thing. There's certain moves that they gain new properties and new abilities when you're in a heat state. Yeah. So that's another thing, right? So you got that. I will say now, Lee, the thing with him for me is I've always been depressed because Lee technically was my number one before because he existed before Hwoarang existed. Hwoarang didn't come out until 3. Lee's been there from Tekken 1. They gave him his identity, but the only thing now he in 7 and I would say the last 2 Tekkens, he just never hit hard enough to get people off him. He was quick. He was stylish.
That's what I'm having trouble with Claudio. Like he can combo and juggle, but I can't. The reason I started seeking a second main is like I can't knock someone off their feet.
Right. I need that power, to get you off and respect. Right.
My friend's maining Paul.
Oh God, he gonna be
That's Godfit, bro.
That Godfit.
I've never been more angry at a friend over a game than when this dude pulled out Paul because I just can't break through because he hits me so hard. Quarter health. Gone. And I'm like, I'm working for it. I'm jabbing. I'm trying to get a combo started. He just punches me once. That's it. I'm like,
let me give you some tips though. What I would highly recommend with your Claudio, learn armor moves because what happens is armor moves, everyone has at least 1 or 2 of them. One main one, sometimes people have an extra one out of a stance, but every character has one. So what it is, you ever see those moves when you go and your move still goes through?
Gray out.
Yeah. Now you'll take damage, but you'll go through because what'll happen is that stops people from abusing certain frame traps on you. Because some people are just frame data guys. They just want to pick the fastest move in the fast situation and they go stick to those 2 moves and just annoy you. Armor move, they behind. Because what's going to happen is it's not going to work. They're going to do and you going to bust through. You're like, hey, I'm willing to take a little bit of damage to hurt you, to stop you from doing that. Highly recommend that. And then what I would say is, again, my struggle has been the super turtler. There's guys that's like, usually I'm good at what moves to do in what situation. And I'm very aggressive. I'm going to get on.
Oh, dude, you're Hwoarang, bro. You're all over. My friend's playing Hwoarang and he just smothers you, bro. Yeah. Just flying his leg around everywhere. It's insane.
Lows, giving you mix up, making you have to choose, right?
Yeah.
So what I like, this is what you do. For the people who are extremely defensive, the heat is basically, you got to remember every round, use the heat at least one time. Either use a move that sets up and gets you into heat, because what you want to do is chip damage the turtle. The turtle was to sit there and just wait for openings, and that's fine. If that's your style, that's cool. I'm just talking about for my pit bulls out there like me, use the heat. But even if you're a turtler, use the heat in counter. If you see someone use heat on you, you're like, okay, if I'm blocking too much, they're going to start chipping and whittling me. Let me get on offense. Sometimes use heat back as a defensive move to even the odds. But a lot of people, they don't use heat and they end up getting smashed out of it. And of course, we know about heat, the rage art when things get, real tough. So there's so many layers to it. But yeah, man,
I would throw defense. That's the thing. I'm really
low is tough. It's tough. And it's harder for me as this game went to 60 frames a second since Tekken 6, and it's harder. The only thing I would say is if you could somehow learn how to low parry, they need a low parry tutorial.
Throws like
throws are so good. And learn 2-button throw escapes, because most masters, they're too good at, if you use the left throw and the right throw, I usually map them to my shift buttons. But what you want to do is every character has a throw that has a 2-button escape. So this way you play the cat and mouse game, because some guys are good at escaping throws, but not good at escaping the 2-button throws. And that's, so go through your move list and you'll see it when it says escape, look for those. Get your throws in, use your heat. And I already got a routine for Tekken. That's how I warm up with a character. But I would first do I would highly advise taking at least him through part way of the arcade quest thing where the game is teaching you, right? With the little avatar. Start there. I mean, no, excuse me. Start with basic arcade mode where you just play against 6 characters, beat the thing. Do the arcade quest. Really get technical. Now, if you really want to get nice with the character and you're not ready to bring them online yet, you don't want your friends to see you, Super Ghost Battle. Super Ghost Battle. Because it goes down into traditional tournament setting format. 3 rounds against an AI ghost, and it gets real. You're going to learn what really is effective. Because some moves are flashy and cool, but I'm like, damn, it ain't working. I'm getting hit a lot. I'm getting smacked out of that. Yeah. You're going to learn certain moves like, oh, wow, they ain't got nothing for that. And that's how I learned. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think has attracted me the most is it's a game that has the tools to allow me to learn rather than granted I'm watching guides online, but the game has every bit of information for me. I just didn't know what I was really looking at. Absolutely. Frame data. I was like, okay, I know this thing, but I don't know how you exactly utilize it.
Yeah.
But this has punishment training. It has sample combos. It has everything you need. The arcade quest is a good call out because then you go through the first chapter and you unlock the Super Ghost Battle. You could download if you're fighting a friend and he's beating your ass. You can download their ghost and just watch their patterns in real time. It's a beautiful learning tool for fighting games. It should put the fighting community on watch in the sense there's so many features in Tekken 8 that I just can't imagine other fighting games not having now.
Yeah, it's next level. And I would also do is when you're in practice, put the AI in different states. Sometimes standing block to feel how it is when your moves hit, because sometimes your moves hit and people block it and they can respond. Yeah. So that's what the punishment training. So just get a feel of how it is in different states. But yeah, man, I had to pick it up for the ROG, bro. I had to pick it up for ROG because I need my practice. I'm thinking about getting it on PC. It is phenomenal on the ROG.
Yeah. I'm about to double dip and it's only been a month.
Already did it, bro.
Last game for me. This is the other one that took me away from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for lesser enjoyable reasons. Skull and Bones. We have a write in here from Ramsey Schroeder. Hey Dukes, Maddie, WTF. Why did you waste your time reviewing Skull and Bones, which is certified trash, since before launch? Now I'm worried because in Constellation you made it seem like you are now skipping Banishers, a certified Maddie game, because you were reviewing Skull and Bones. Please tell me you are not putting Banisher off into your already endless backlog. I'm counting on you, Maddie. You need to play this. Thanks, guys. Yes, this is on the list. I know it's a Maddie game because I love Vampires. It's from that same team. I'm going to play Banishers this year. But, look, so what's been happening with the review code scene is this. I was shocked that I got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but the fact that I got it for Retro Rebound is kind of telling because what's really changed behind the scenes is I'm getting more and more sponsorship offers than ever before.
That's dope.
I am not getting review code offers or answers or anything anymore. They've just totally dumped people like me into this influencer bin. And so it's either pay or fuck off. And so that's why with Persona 3 Reload, it's like, okay, I get to cover the game. I had it for 2 weeks. It's like, that's super early. And I get to put a ton of time into it and play it. I'm not going to label it as a review because it's not. I'm making money off of it.
Right.
But granted, I could say what I want. I had a list of critiques in the video, and no one told me to change anything. But that's kind of like the main change. So when I say all that is, I'm hungry to get review codes, and so if I get one even for a shitty game like Skull and Bones or a game I'm morbidly curious about, which I thought maybe had a lot of negativity surrounding it, like Suicide Squad, it's like I got to check these out. I want to see what's going on. And so Skull and Bones was another game like Suicide Squad where just for so long I'd heard about this game. I saw the public had made up their mind about it. I was like, okay, I'm unplugging because now I'll see for myself whenever it comes out. Game's in development for 10 years. It's out now. And Ramsey's right. It definitely was pretty bad. It was pretty much identified as bad before it came out. And I think it is a mess. The biggest criticism I can lay at its feet that I think was already been said before, but it doesn't make it any less effective, is Skull and Bones fails to build upon a game that's like a decade older than it. Games like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, even Assassin's Creed 3's Homestead, where they first introduced the ship combat, AC Rogue, these games all had on-foot exploration, things to do beyond the ship, interesting ship upgrades, ship missions. And Skull and Bones, which is built entirely around the ship, just does nothing. It doesn't evolve anything at all. In fact, it plays worse than these older games. And I don't say that to be hyperbolic. Like, the combat, they turned it into almost like a third-person shooter where there's reticles and aiming now. And so they bring in the camera really close. And because the camera's really close, you lose all sight of nearby ships. So these battles involving tons of ships are just complete fucking chaos, where even like those design principles from Assassin's Creed Black Flag are completely lost and thrown away. Like when you aimed in to shoot from the broadside cannons, it pulled the camera in, but you could still see the 180 degrees in front of you for the most part, right? Like you couldn't see everything, but enough where you had spatial awareness. You just don't have that here. These little fundamental design decisions are what, pardon the pun, sink Skull and Bones though. It's that. It's not fun to play. It's very much an MMO where it even has like MMO launch issues. And by that, I mean, we've all played a game that is launched and you have to collect like 8 of this. And so you go to the areas on the map where there's 8 of this and nothing's there. And that's because another player has already come by and looted it. And because you're on the same server and there's a bug going on, you have to wait your turn until it spawns. Gotcha. The game had booted me out multiple times when I was online. These are online things that I think you could argue, like, they'll get ironed out over time. Like, what, Maddie, if I bought it cheap, would I be disappointed? And what I say is just that Skull and Bones never proves itself to be better than things it's come before, or that things that had come before it. And even if you look in more modern terms, like, okay, I've never played Black Flag, I've never played Rogue, who gives a shit? I say, look across the ocean, if you will, to Sea of Thieves. Just more interactive, more mechanically deep, and it's definitely deep into its life cycle. So that's, you could say, well, that's a little unfair, but at a certain point, you're fucking strawmanning me now. The game's just not that great. It's just not that great. And that's all there is to it. And it's going to take a while to get anywhere where it may be great. And I don't think the player base is going to be there to let it get to that spot. And so, yeah, Skull and Bones was definitely feeling like DOA before launch. I definitely think it's going to be as we're in the launch, and it has proven to be mediocre. And so, yeah, I'll get to Banishers Ramsey, but I had to do my job. A rare code crossed the desk without a sponsorship offer. So, I had to take it up here.
I feel that. Now you got to talk about it. I respect that.
Cog, time for the news. Number one, obvious one. Xbox has made things official with the confirmation of Pentiment, Grounded, Sea of Thieves, and Hi-Fi Rush leaving the platform. This was originally announced with Grounded and Pentiment during the Nintendo Direct, but then we got a full Xbox Wire post listing the following. Quote, Pentiment from Obsidian Entertainment, a truly unique, critically acclaimed, and award-winning narrative adventure with a striking visual style inspired by history itself, will be coming to PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch on February 22nd. Hi-Fi Rush, the award-winning and beloved rhythm-based action game where the world syncs to the music from Tango Gameworks / Bethesda Softworks, will be coming to PlayStation 5 on March 19th at midnight UTC, with pre-purchase available on PlayStation 5 digital storefronts on February 22nd. Grounded, also from Obsidian Entertainment, a co-op survival action adventure phenomenon that has welcomed 20 million players into the backyard, will be coming to PlayStation 4, 5, and Nintendo Switch on April 16th. Crossplay will be supported across Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Lastly is Sea of Thieves, the shared world adventure game from Rare, will be coming to PlayStation 5 on April 30th and will be available to wishlist by PlayStation 5 players starting tomorrow, February 22nd. Having built a passionate community of more than 35 million players from around the world, the support of crossplay for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC will allow players to experience epic pirate adventures with friends on more platforms. End quote. We also had the confirmation through limited run that Pentiment and Hi-Fi Rush will be getting physical copies through their service. Pentiment up first with pre-orders available soon, and Hi-Fi Rush to be announced at a later date. So it's here, Cog. It's here. These have been reported. So for many people, like not really news, so to say, but now we know the games, the platforms, like Sea of Thieves right now is only PS5. We see that Pentiment is going to be the first to strike tomorrow. By the time this is out, it'll already be available on Switch, which is a great fit. It'll be available on PlayStation. And then Hi-Fi Rush is to go second, with Grounded following up afterwards. So coming out in a pretty short burst here, might I add. Really short window, no long marketing time or anything like that. Just like, hey, they're here. See you as soon as tomorrow. So, of course, there's a number of threads that we can pull out here. But, Cog, what do you make of Xbox's push into multi-platform. Now that it's been made official beyond the business update and leaving the announcements to the teams, it's here. We know what it is. We have the details. We have the context. So what are your thoughts?
It's surreal to see.
Yeah,
it is. And it's one of those things that, again, I've been around the block, gamer, long time. And I will say that, like, this definitely represents a change. We can't deny it. Like, this is a huge deal. And I guess for me, just to see the actual announcements from the studios themselves, right? Obviously, Bethesda puts out the tweet in reference to Hi-Fi and stuff like that. And obviously, Obsidian, they're putting out the tweets and stuff like that, promoting of another console, right? See PlayStation, and I will be surprised. PlayStation 4 more so than Switch. Obviously, I thought Sea of Thieves, might have been there, but you see that didn't happen. Here's the thing that actually is very interesting to me. I noticed when you read it, seeing Grounded like on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, seeing Pentiment on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Curious about that install base in reference to that. Now, Hi-Fi Rush, we know, was built up on next generation hardware, so maybe there's a difference there. Mm-hmm. And I guess my question now is with the Switch, because there's a part of me that's like, are some things, and I had this discussion with Jeff Grubb, he had me on his Game Mess earlier, and we did this as the news broke. You know what I'm saying? And, there's a question, is it a legal thing, or is it a situation where, hey, they may want to save some of these titles as part of a launch title for Switch 2 or Super Switch, whatever they're calling it, for next year. The rumors are, I don't know if you know, that they're going to at least announce the system, but potentially show it in June this year. That will release next year, but at least we'll know about like the reveal, so to speak, about what's coming from Nintendo. So listen, this is a huge deal. This is an inflection point in game. I thought it's very interesting. The Xbox Twitter account themselves put that out there. This is the Bandaid ripping off. We are here. Now, in retrospect, looking at the business update, it makes sense that they wanted to get ahead of this so that you just put it this way. Could you imagine no business update and you wake up to the Nintendo Direct today without any clue that Pentiment Grounded is coming? Mm-hmm. How does that feel to maybe a potential base that it may be sensitive that they had no clue this was happening? So it is interesting how the reaction to this news may have affected how they handled, and what the other timeline would have been is my question. But look, other than that, other the fact that we knew what these four were and they confirmed it, it is still surreal to see. It is like, and some people are not taking it well. The question is going to be, is this a vocal minority? Or in fairness, is this a situation where people go, hey, well, now that I know Xbox is doing this, what is my incentive, right? For the people who are not in the ecosystem. Now, I think that is a fair question.
100%. Yeah.
And we got to see, I will say this, my final top level thought. This is uncharted territory. Let's be very clear. We have never seen this. I've been there for the Segas, the Neo Geos, the TurboGrafx-16, the 3DOs that come and came out with consoles. They die. They end up becoming third party fully. They are not making hardware. Xbox is saying they're making hardware. They're saying they're making more hardware. They have a service. They're saying they're buying more studios, right? All intensive purposes show that they are still going to be in the industry. But we've never seen this where games from a platform go over, yet you still exist. And it's going to be interesting how they navigate that, right? Is it now more people know about Hi-Fi Rush? Now we can do Hi-Fi Rush 2, the sequel on Xbox. It's questions, man. Like, we got to see how this thing's going to play. Shout out to Cops. They're excited too. They don't know how it's going to play out. Yes, but there is a level of uncertainty on both sides. It could be a situation where, as they use the famous Maddie word they use for me, clairvoyance, right? Where they go, yo, Xbox was right. Look how much they're doing. Look how well these titles are doing. I don't know the answer. I just don't. This is uncharted territory. I will admit, Maddie, and no fanboyness. It's surreal to see. When you look at the account, you see the PlayStation logo. You see the Switch logo. next to Grounded. Like, it's like, yo, this happened now. Like, it's here. Like, what's your thought? How are you processing? Because we talked briefly this morning, but I want to know, how are you processing and the reactions, and just what's your top level thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, I mean, you were able to live through all this. This is all entirely new to me. So it is totally uncharted territory for me as a consumer to see something like this. And especially, like, I grew up with the big three having their own walled gardens, like many of us. Like, I grew up Xbox, PlayStation, GameCube. They all have their own respective libraries and things. You go there to get specific things. And over time, we've seen like a little bit of bleeding through, like Cuphead and Ori leaving the platform. You know, we see things like that. But as we'll talk about with PlayStation in a little bit, what this feels like is the little domino has fallen now. Like, we just tipped over one, and I'm just curious to see how fast this moves. I want to shout out Benji Sales, because you sent me his tweet, and I think it was great, is that all of these releases are really jammed in the first half of the year. And it makes you wonder if there's more to come quicker than we expect in the second half of the year. And I say that because I'm running under the assumption, and maybe Benji is too, I don't know, but I'm running under the assumption that, pass or fail, there's more games on the way, because I think there's just a justification for either way, right? There's the justification if they succeed, it's obvious, right? Like, oh, we're going to do more. It worked out so well. We're going to do it again. If they fail, it's like, well, these are lesser known titles. We didn't put our best foot forward here. We're going to try something else here, like Forza Horizon 5. I think that is one of my predictions. I think Forza.
Okay.
That's the burger, fries, and shake combo.
That's a big one. That's part of core competencies.
Cross-contamination is big for them right now. Like, they're looking at these Grounded. They're looking at things like Sea of Thieves, and they're saying, like, hey, let's get more players in. We have 20 million players here, or 35 million players here. Let's get more in. And Forza, you have to imagine it probably has hit its ceiling, and it's not seeing as explosive growth as it once did. The DLC's there, like, that's a good candidate, and it wouldn't surprise me if they at least have one more in the tuck for the second half of the year. Also, you could argue that the second half of the year is dedicated to just exclusive stuff for the platform right now, because we know pretty much everything that was announced outside of Hellblade is coming in the second half of the year. So it could also be that. That might be why they're just filling out the front half, because that'll generate revenue for these quarters right now. You have to look at it that way too, because Xbox is finally about to start releasing stuff where we can treat them more like a sufficiently run business. And, they actually have things coming out and they're making money off these things. And while their earnings reports tell us very little, we can at least take some degree of insight into that. But it's weird. It's definitely weird. Like, it's one of those things where I now seeing PlayStation comments, which is our next topic, feels like the whole industry is trending this way, I think, quicker than any of us expected. Like, there was no smooth, gentle way of doing it. Maybe this is the most gentle way we could do it, but you're seeing PlayStation talking about like a more aggressive PC strategy for starters, which it was a big deal when they even went to PC in the first place. Now they're saying they look at the absolutely tremendous success of Helldivers.
Oh my God, yes.
They can't look at that and be like, this did better than God of War. This did better than Horizon. This did better than the game we started our PC push with. This game here. And like, look, I love Helldivers 1. I haven't played 2 yet, but I love Helldivers 1. Like, I had no doubts in the quality. I was a little worried about the loss of personality because of the shift in like camera. Like, what are we trying? Like, are we taking away from what Helldivers is? Clearly, they didn't do that at all. But to see that completely go past their other games, that is an eye-opening release. And when you look at the operational margins, I guess I should just hop into the subject and we'll just meld the two together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Helldivers 2, there's been a lot of comments surrounding this game and PlayStation's strategy shifting amongst that release. So number one was a more aggressive PC strategy to improve the margins. This is from Hiroki Totoki. Quote, another driver will be first-party titles. Strong titles that achieve growth on PS5, PCs, and other platforms will widen our margins, end quote. PlayStation fans listening to this, you'll maybe note that Cog and I talked about the words of Satya Nadella, who used the words of Xboxes and other consoles. This has a similar verbiage to me that suggests he's talking about at least Switch. Sony's value dropped by $10 billion following missed console sales, despite record high digital sales, which is an important metric to underscore there. Helldivers 2 hit an all-time peak of 411,359 players on Steam. So You're seeing a tremendous success, yet they're losing value as a company despite their digital game sales going higher. And you have to remember, with Xbox right now, they're not the lead revenue driver in Microsoft. Whereas with Sony, PlayStation is. So the pressure's even higher for them to go out and make more money with their games, I think. And that they have already said they expect PS5 sales to decline further as there's no existing major franchise titles that are going to hit before April 2025. That doesn't mean things won't be announced before then, but nothing's coming out from like, I thought maybe we'd see like something about Ghost of Tsushima 2, something along those lines, but nothing. So I bring all that up because for me, the way I'm processing it is, it doesn't feel, at first it felt like Xbox was alone, but it moved so quickly that within a week's time, PlayStation's already saying things indicating like, for the necessity of our business, at least I think moving forward, we should start to expect to see PlayStation games being day and date on PC, which I don't think is a bad thing for them. They're taking the step that Xbox took like 5 years ago or whatever when they did day and date on PC. We'll see how quickly they move over to other platforms. Like I said in my video that a game like Gravity Rush going to Switch, why not? Why not? That game's just sitting there. It's perfect for that system. Or Concrete Genie, why not? Like, why not?
I get it.
I think there is I will say this in Xbox's defense with the emotion kind of stripped out of it because, you know, last week we were processing things in real time. Like looking at Xbox's plan of even if they truly meant it, like we're doing these they're smaller, they're experimental, and we're not doing much after this, and they actually stick to that. Let's say that is the case. Then why wouldn't PlayStation do a similar thing and keep your God of Wars, your Uncharted's, but let the other things that literally are probably selling maybe single units per week go elsewhere and make thousands of dollars. I can get behind that strategy. I get it. Give game, because it reminds me of remasters, like giving the game a second chance at life in the right zeitgeist, in that right window, that right level of recognition that maybe like Gravity Rush probably never took off because it started off as a Vita exclusive. It's phenomenal. I recommend everyone please check out at least the original Gravity Rush. I love that game. But that probably never took off. If it was like a PS4 exclusive when the PS4 was at its height, they did Gravity Rush 2 on the PS4, but people were like, okay, you have remastered. The remaster was hard to get your hands on. It was super expensive. So, you know, I just feel like second chances at life aren't necessarily a bad thing here. Like a Pentiment is a great pick. So I'm processing it with a degree of like, you know, I like the walled garden approach because I think it creates value for these platforms. Right. But at the same time, as a game maker and looking at other game makers, like it'd be cool to see Josh Sawyer be able to make another Pentiment because that's a game that existed through this re-release, right? Like, that'd be really awesome to see. We actually have a writing here from Sean Mason that I wanted to highlight to kind of direct the conversation a little more. He says, greetings, Dukes. Given the strong indications of Hi-Fi Rush being one of the 4 games coming to other platforms, mind you, he wrote this in before the news had hit. Do you believe there's potential for a sequel? Given the critical success of Hi-Fi Rush, if it performs well commercially on other platforms, it's plausible that Xbox might approve a sequel. This time around, I anticipate they would approach the marketing strategy more effectively. What are your thoughts on this, best Sean M? And Xbox has kind of drawn themselves in a corner here because I think part of the proposed compromise, if you will, with their fans was in the business update. This could enable sequels. And so the expectation right now from Xbox fans I've seen is like, oh, I can go there. You just better make a second one now. And so do you think, COG, we get a Hi-Fi Rush 2? Do we get a Pentiment 2? Sea of Thieves is live service, so I think they just keep supporting that. Grounded, I think they just keep supporting that. But do you think we get sequels for these 2 single-player games?
Yeah, I think so. I think very strongly, especially for Hi-Fi Rush. You know, it's one of those things that listen, I'm going to be very clear. As a person who grew up, you know, loving exclusives and understanding the value of what it brings to the platform, I get it. But at the same time, I have to be cognizant of what is being said here. And what's being said here is that part of this strategy is once a game comes out, you've hit the zeitgeist. Now it's gone. There's not much more you're going to extract from it at that point, right? So now they apply this new strategy, which is now putting this on another platform, a whole new audience that will now pick up the game, you know, also most likely, you know what I'm saying? No subscription service is going to be that $70 price point or whatever it may be. Now you're getting that revenue now on that. Now there's 2 new audiences that now know what Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment are, right? They know exactly what it is now. Before, let's be honest, you're the third place console, right? only your base, which is smaller, it knows about these games. You know what I'm saying? And even if they don't, even if people know about it, there is that, because you lost the Xbox One generation with that and people are tied to their digital libraries. Some people are like, oh, that looks cool, but I don't know if I'm coming over just to that, to buy that. Now I try it. I'm like, man, this is dope. Wow, I missed out. Hi-Fi Rush is amazing. Pentiment is amazing. I'm seeing Josh Sawyer retweeting some documentary they're about to do on it. Like, I'm seeing people like, yo, you got better play this game. I'm seeing media saying that now. We know we had Josh Sawyer in the realm of the Dukes, right? We understand that the passion that he has for this game and what it meant. So now I think this does put Xbox in position to say, okay, we're picking these titles also because we see more potential. And let's be honest, y'all didn't buy it. I'm just going to say it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they probably to themselves, like, not enough people bought this game the way we anticipate. We want to make this still a core pillar. Let's now invest with Tango, Hi-Fi Rush 2. Boom. Here we go. $7 release on PC and in Game Pass. Go ahead, interrupt.
I have a question.
Let's go.
Because you're going off, and I love what you're saying.
Yes.
You get a Hi-Fi Rush 2.
Mm-hmm.
Is it exclusive?
It's not exclusive, probably initially. It's exclusive initially. I'm wrong point. It's exclusive to, well, it's really not, because it's going to PC on day. All that stuff is PC. Yeah. But let's say
PC.
It's console exclusive, right? Mm. And what happens now is you create the FOMO. I know what they try to do. You create the FOMO and go, oh man. Remember when we got Crisis Core? And we like, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean?
7 Remake.
Here comes 7 Remake on PlayStation. Yeah. She's like, damn, I want to really get in on that. So they're trying to create that FOMO where it's like, all right, boom. Now, again, we're going to see if the data proves that to be correct or not. Or do people say, nah, I'm good. I'm going to wait. Right? So you got that aspect. And I do think there could be potential there. I just got to see how it plays out. But I do think this will allow them to make sequels, build awareness, and get some people at least to try the ecosystem more than they would, because now they know what these titles are. So yeah, that's part of the strategy for sure. Absolutely. And then from the developer standpoint, we got to be real now. Let's just get down to the corporate cog and the nuts and the bolts of this, is that Tango is a Japanese studio. Let's just take their example. They can't necessarily be happy that the sales may be. And I had to give Grubb his props. Remember, Grubb reported this first. Yeah. He was the one that said, hey, not that it was a failure, but they may have said, our internal targets was it for it to hit this sales number, and it hit here, right? Mm-hmm. And remember, at the time, Xbox was a little defensive. Remember? They go, no, they're happy. And they're probably happy with the franchise. They see the potential of it. But you want this to be here. So now it gets there. They want this as a tentpole. They want this as something that, to come out and make a sequel. And we know, listen, Chai, Hi-Fi, come on, that's a star. We know, you know what I mean? That
I hope it is, or I hope people actually buy it. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting, right? To see. I will say this. This is going to sound a little spicy. I might get in trouble. The media's reaction to these games, retweet, play, and maybe just because these two brands are just so much more popular, right? I'm seeing people like, I can't wait. Or people say, you got to pick up this game. You got to get this game. Like, y'all better play this game. Like, I'm talking about like people, not just fanboys. I'm talking about like media, people who are in the industry. It's going to be interesting to see I am very curious to see how these titles perform. I want to know what the engagement is. This is one of the most, I would say, peculiar thing. I've never seen anything like this, man. I've never seen it. I got to see that. But yeah, I think that to Sean's question, the short answer is yes. I think sequels will happen. And I think where the goalposts will move a little bit further is then you'll start to see like a live service day and date as opposed to a wait. That's my next prediction. It's going to be gradual, but I see it. Because when you make that revenue, you make that money.
Like a game like Contraband, like do you keep that exclusive now, right? Like
anything live service to me is going to be in question as to why we're going to hold this off from day and date. Why not get, or like, for example, I'm just going to put it out there. Killer Instinct. If there's a new Killer Instinct, You really not going to put out Killer Instinct?
PlayStation.
Look what Tekken 8 is doing right now with all platforms, right? It don't make sense to just cut off. And that's why Phil is, I know we'll talk later, making those kind of comments about Helldivers 2 on the flip side. I get it. Some people, he's port begging. It makes sense. And then we talk about Hiroki Tutorial. Let me tell you right now, have you been reading, like, have you went through like the actual, like what he's been saying? Like,
yeah.
Bro, this man is walking around like Darth Vader in the joint. He is sitting here like, excuse me, y'all real nice people. You're highly motivated. I love when he says that. You're highly motivated. But when it comes to understanding the business, y'all don't know what y'all do. Like literally, did you see what he said to Bungie today? Bro, he's going through all of PlayStation Studios and saying, yo, that's cool and all, but we're not making the profit we need to make, and you guys don't understand what needs to happen here. And now we're going to have to change some approach. Like, he is going around the building. When you see the words, we're making an aggressive pitch towards PC, day and date's happening. So how I look at it is, I'm not going to say they're going to be as aggressive as Microsoft with the be moving their titles to Xbox. I'm not saying that yet. But PC is happening. That they're not. Helldivers 2 is an unmitigated success, like you said. Corporations are not moving away from that bread. Sorry, fanboys, and your feelings. That's not how this works. How it works is money. And when that money is being made, and like I told Xbox guys, you say, it's only 4. If the money come back on Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, I am telling y'all right now, you thought your man was cheating, your girl cheating at the club before, it's going down. You're in an open relation, pal. This is an open relationship. That's what it is. Y'all swinging, y'all gonna have to get over it, or you're gonna have to get yourself a new partner if you don't like to be labeled that. But that's where we are. It's a new day. And it's just fascinating to watch because the games industry, last point, Matt Piscatella made a good point. He's got a tweet. I'll send you this. Sometimes he blocks people. I'll read it.
I am blocked. So
I didn't know. He random block. I'm lucky I ain't catch it straight because he ain't like some stuff for people I associated with at one point. But it seems we're cordial for now. All right. He said, I get that console fans love their consoles. The U.S. video game market is, however, a mature market at this point. It's not dying by any means, but the market is what it is. He said, we have to get beyond the boxes in the U.S. to find growth. And he has a chart. I'll try to save the image and then send it to you another way. But I'll send it probably to Discord.
Yeah, send it to Discord,
it is, you got to see this because this is so telling, man. Hold on one second. So we got US one. I'm going to send it to my man, Mr. Matty, please. We're going to upload the file. And then we're going to try to get this over to you because, bro, this thing, here it is. All right, check your Discord right now. Send it to you. Did it go through? Let me know if it went through for you.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, the U.S. video game market, hardware spending year over year. And if you look at this chart, you would say, was it in the left is the spending in the billions, right? Mm-hmm. And then on the bottom, we're tracking the years, right? So 2008 was like a real peak. You see, like it was up there for hardware spending.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That was prime 360 PS3, man.
Yeah. So you look at probably 2022, it's kind of just peaked off. It hasn't really popped off. You see how like the chart, the way it's flowing?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not, for those who don't have a visual of this, it declines after 2008. Mm-hmm. It's a almost all-time low for a while in 2012.
Yeah.
Start of a new generation in 2013, lets it climb back up in 2014. It falls off in 2015, 16, picks back up for 17, 18, falls again in 19. Mm-hmm. But what you'll notice is it picks up in 2020 considerably, 21 and 22, 23 stays the same, is that nothing has grown past that 2008.
Which goes back to Phil's comments. Again, you got two options now. When there's no more growth than what you're getting, you either are going to over monetize the same group of people, right? Or you try to find new players. And that's what's happening right here. Sony sees it. Xbox sees it. Xbox being a little bit more aggressive, but they all see it. The only person right now that don't seem to be affected is Nintendo. Shout out to them. You know what I'm saying? They doing what they do. You know what I'm saying?
Because Nintendo, I think it's clear, like when you look at some of their games, they don't throw massive budgets into it. Like they do that selectively. Like Zelda gets a massive budget. Pokemon, though, they're not giving Pokemon a big budget because look how much it sells and look how little they got to do for it. Like they're not. We actually had a great write-in here from Captain Hero. It's one of my favorite we've gotten in weeks. Not to play favorites here, but it's really good. It says, "Hey Dukes, loving the show. Keep it coming. Both Microsoft and Sony are in interesting positions. Xbox seems to be struggling to grow beyond PC and Xbox core console gamers, but has a healthy profitability. In contrast, Sony has captured a bigger gaming audience, but seems to be struggling to drive healthy profit margins. Both are struggling in slightly different ways. All the pundits say they both need to expand into mobile/cloud and other avenues. But what if these avenues are red herrings and we've just peaked in the terms of the new net new gamers for the foreseeable future? What would a fallback strategy look like for both companies? And is there a viable path to sustainable growth? There's just too much going on to track these days kind of day." Thank you, Captain Hero, for the great write-in. So my theory has always been you just got to start making cheaper games. Like you just have to start making smaller, cheaper games. Not like Pentiment small, but you got to start making like a Hi-Fi Rush, more of those, like stylistic 10 hours, more focused on replayability than expansive worlds and fidelity, smaller teams, like more splinter group operations within these companies where it's not just one core game getting the focus, but like 3 projects at once, all working in tandem. And then you just kind of shift over and prioritize one as it gets closer to the finish line. I just really think that to me is the fallback strategy. It's like, okay, if you try to grow, like you go to these other markets, you get aggressive in multi-plat. It's what I asked Cog last week. I'm like, the question for me is, and it's in the same light as Captain Hero, of like, how much is enough too? It's like, how much is enough? Like when you see, we've surpassed the 2008 level of growth, the most growth we've seen in over a decade. It's here. It's like, okay, now what? You're obligated by your shareholders to go find more growth, right? So what do you do then? Who are you going to find? Then you start, now that you've got the widest pool of the bunch, you're probably going to start monetizing all those people. And that's the fear I have, is that the next step, once you've caught everybody, is that you monetize everybody, because you have such a massive pool of people to pick from your grandma all the way to some little kid. And I think that is the other fallback strategy. Smaller, cheaper games, maybe less inspired games, and more monetization. And that, I know it's a little bit of a fear mongering by me. I apologize, but I just can't act like that's not how I see it going, because when has it ever been enough for any of these companies? When has it ever been enough where they're like, yeah, we got a ton of money. We're a $3 trillion company. Wait, dude, go make a Pentiment 3 for all we care. Like, have fun with it. They don't do that. They're like, no, Xbox, we saw you buy Activision Blizzard King, and you're not going to go make Singularity 2. Everyone's working on Call of Duty. Like, that's the reality. So I don't know necessarily if I see this expansion leading to greatness. Like, that's why I don't co-sign the bullshit I see on Twitter constantly of like it's great when everybody plays. Fuck off, man. There are benefits. Yeah, there are benefits to where we are right now as an industry. And I think the people who are just parroting the same fucking marketing speak from like Phil and co have to be careful, because when you get what you wish for, it can end pretty shitty. It may take a while to get there, but we can get into a spot where the games industry is nothing more than a massive mobile market by that point, where it's just that lower garbageware level quality, because the users are so high. Like, why wouldn't someone, like, we saw our first real high profile scam in gaming, I feel, with I know the day before. Yeah. Like that is really unprecedented, that company was able to come in full IGN, full Nvidia, get as much traction, number one wish listed game on Steam despite the negative press, and come out the way it did, right? That's just going to happen more and more, except it'll be quieter as we grow, as we get more people to play. You're inviting in more bad actors. You're inviting in more scams. You're inviting in more shovelware. You're inviting in more monetization. Like, there is pros to it. You do get your Pentiment too, but just, I guess, not to sit here and just get on my soapbox, but I think people need to be cognizant of, like, it's not what's the fucking shit Phil's been saying? Like, when we all play, we win. Come on, man. Come on. Like, I'm not going to sit here and eat that up all day. There's definitely drawbacks to where we're going with this. And I'm all for second chances, like I said earlier. but we got to be honest with ourselves that it's not a fucking pot of gold at the end of this rainbow. Maybe for the companies it is, but like for us as consumers and what we're getting, I do fear as gaming becomes more and more of a business where right now there's still some creative energy there.
Right.
You're going to squeeze out the people who made this thing what it was and then leave the bean counters. And so just something to be cognizant of, I think, is that it's cool what Xbox is doing. It's cool to be on the precipice of all of this. But I really do think if we storm in this direction and once like all the floodgates are down, which maybe will be like 15 years from now, what I'm talking about will be a gradual, quote, death of 1,000 cuts if it happens. But it definitely is something that I think could happen if we're not responsible. And what I'm seeing here from all of these different talking heads is that when that time comes, they're going to try to find a way to get more money. And I think there's only so many ways you can do that when you've reached the maximum amount of people.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can't predict the future. I can't say how this is going to go. But, you know, we do have some pundits and some people who have said, I think even Sean Laney was one of them, that prior to this, that the current, this was before he left Sony, like the current industry was unsustainable. The way the market was with AAA development was he, and now he's looking like the prophet right now, right? There's a lot of people I speak to behind the scene that told me, dog, if we don't change, there's going to be a crash. I've been hearing this for a while. And, you know, I think what the reality is this. With Xbox's situation, we get it, right? They didn't, we're not hitting their targets. Whatever has changed that internally now has forced this pivot in regards to sustainability or what have you. They have the internal numbers that we haven't seen yet that will dictate this change. With PlayStation, we're saying like, wait a minute, you're the number one. You're the success. You're moving consoles, you know, hand over fist for the most part. So, you know, it kind of like surprising. So it goes to show you, like you said, it's that pie hasn't got bigger in the console space. And I think we're at an evolution. We're at this point now where it's, you know, either people have the new generation that have gone to mobile, you know, we do know there is more PC growth. We do know that, right? We do know that there are people who are just saying, you know what, I'm just going to get a PC. I get the best of both worlds. And that PC market is growing. So, and we talked about it on the crossover with the Valve stuff and the Steam Deck and the portable stuff like that and the mobile. So look, I understand your point in reference to degradation, right? I am a firm believer, though, that the market, the gamer, tells the industry how it's going to go. And there's certain games that come out and we go, okay, like we talk about a Baldur's Gate, or we talk about, there's certain games that come out that people go, this is what we want, right? And then you have the copycat league effect. The only difference now that I see is that the AAA high fidelity budget type game, that's going to slow down a little bit. We're not going to have as many as of them. Not they're going to exist. But even if you look at Hellblade 2, remember the shock was like, yo, only 7-8 hours, okay, you know, shorter experience. See, to me, that $50, maybe this is Xbox already applying these strategies that were in the Insomniac leaks, where Sony was like, bro, this is too much, 300 million. Like, we either gonna have to raise the price or make them 50 and split them up and that kind of thing. These games are just too expensive to make. It's just way too much. And no disrespect, like, if you look at Spider-Man versus the other one, like, do you see a 300 million more difference? Like, I personally, don't get me wrong, I'm not disrespecting the game. The game is amazing. I'm just saying I didn't see where the finances. So that's why I feel it's just bloated. To your point, I'm not there with the industry is going to be like, you know, complete low effort, you know, and worrying about like how creatives are going to create. I'm thoroughly confident that we are going to get gems. But again, I do have to say, to your point, that I think we're going to see the slow whittling of the AAA and the slow whittling of the exclusive. Not that it's going away, but these games make way too much money being everywhere. That's just the facts. And everyone's seeing it.
Do you see with the whittling of the console exclusive? We've discussed this in the past. Do you see the introduction of the Game Pass exclusive? I know we're talking 20 years down the line, maybe here. Maybe, I don't know. Things move quicker than we expected here. Maybe 10, 15. But do you expect that to be something in Xbox's strategy as a platform?
Maybe. I mean, right now, my gut says no, but I don't. I'm gonna pull a corporate like never say never. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? But the only, I guess, the way I see that is if the growth starts to happen, in a post ABK world, and the numbers are now shooting back up, and 30 turns to 50, and 50 million subscribers turn to, and then they're like, okay, let's keep getting people on this service because now it's working. We're seeing it, right? And then I'm just trying to see what the benefit of doing it would be, as opposed to just, yes, subscribe to the service, you get content like a Netflix original, so to speak, right? But again, you do that, you get people to subscribe, but if it's like a live service or a multiplayer game, does it pay to take it off the other platforms? That's the discussions people are having now. And I think the console market, we're at that point now. There's not enough new people coming in. And, from what I understand, I was talking to Jez, PS5 was still waiting to get a lot of those PS4 guys over, right, into PS5. That's another part of this. It's the new user. I don't know if there's where the new user is going. Is it that because they're trending mobile and they're trending PC? That new user is not growing the console market the way they expected, in conjunction with what I said was the over forecasting during the COVID era. So it's a combination. And here we are. And I think we still got about another year or two before they figure out. But they are going to be drastic change. This year represents a lot of the change already.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to imagine that they're going to try to expand that angle further and further of, creating the price proposition for more people. Because I think that's the ultimate play here is like, okay, we learned through Matt Booty in the business update, we're going to keep Game Pass exclusive to Xbox hardware or platforms or whatever they want to call it. It's like, okay, so you can only find that here, but you're going to bring your games over there. And I guess the hope here is you either have them buy it and you take your cut of the money there, even if Sony makes 30% off of it, you still get your cut. Or more and more as they buy these games and they see these games, they're like, why would I buy them? I could just go over there. And yes, I'm not going to have access to the PlayStation exclusives, but I'm going to save money. And maybe that speaks to them more. I think that's kind of the bet here. But it's interesting to see where Xbox is going, and as PlayStation is echoing similar energy, just at a lesser urgency, for sure.
Absolutely. And PlayStation has historically been that way. They kind of, what I call them, one toe in, let's see how it is, and they got a thing, and they will do it. But here's the issue, and the last point, I know we're going long, is that Hiroki Totoki being now the head, remember, he is the Sony. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. This is not that's different. When the finance guys get a hold, and this is why I tell the Xbox community, I know the slander for Phil is high right now. I get it. But there are at least people with gaming sensibilities. When you get the pure profit guys, and sometimes don't understand how things get, because I'm a firm believer that maybe Microsoft's strategy was going to be more aggressive, but then they saw that pushback and they said, okay, we may have to hold off on them core franchises for now.
Yeah.
Hit them with this, because did you see the reaction? Did you see how they are? And people worry about brand damage. They do. That's a big thing. Perception, marketing, how it looks to the public. Sure. So yeah, I think that played a factor. But in the opposite way, with Sony, I see that PC thing's gonna happen. I could see it as clear as day. It's happening. You know what I mean? They want that revenue.
100%. Just seeing if there's any other write-ins we have here to dig through, but I think that's pretty. Oh, sorry, we do have one. I just want to talk about the physical game side of things here. Nicholas Brilhart wrote in, "Greetings, multi-platform motherfuckers. Today, Xbox announced all 4 of the titles rumored to go multi-platform, but my question aims at the other announced partnership. Xbox is outsourcing physical releases of Pentiment and Hi-Fi Rush to limited run games. And I don't think I could be more upset. Limited Run Games is a company myself and a larger number of the LSM community refused to support after they fired their community manager over being excited for Hogwarts Legacy. That, and of course, their turnaround time on releases is awful. I fully expect PlayStation 6 to come out before a physical copy of Hi-Fi Rush. Do you think Xbox made a mistake here, or is this an intentional move to further kill off physical games on their end? Thanks, and have an additional 5 rare games coming to Nintendo Switch Online means Phil Spencer is a filthy liar kind of day. Thank you for writing in, Nicholas Brillhart. You have the energy today, my friend.
Yeah, you got energy.
You chose violence.
Violence.
This is kind of when we talked about the layoffs that hit Xbox as they re-strategized and want to create sustainable growth, and so they got rid of over 2,000 people. One of those sections being what we talked about earlier with the physical games department is that I believe what Phil said, that we had overlap here with everyone in house, and so you have to eliminate some positions, otherwise you're just spending money on the same thing multiple times over, and that I don't wish for layoffs, but that doesn't make business sense, and I get that. But it also is doing what Microsoft does always, and that's outsourcing. They always outsource, and I think in situations like this, it's less concerning. Limited Run is fucking annoying, but their quality is like guaranteed. Like I have the anniversary edition here for Shredder's Revenge, and I mean it's locked in, guaranteed, dude. It's awesome.
Nice.
Get the manual. The disc is great. The collectibles they give you are great. I have the KOTOR one back here. Like
I got the Streets of Rage.
I get people's issues with them. I totally get it, personal and professional, but their quality is tough to match. They do an amazing job. And I think that's a good partner to pick. Like, hey, if you're going to do Pentiment, do it right. People are going to have to wait for it, but do it right.
You're going to wait. That's shipping.
Yeah, you're going to wait, especially if you get any sort of collector's edition.
Oh, you definitely.
You're going to do Hi-Fi Rush, do it right. And so, yeah, is it frustrating that like these games never hit store shelves? It's like, sure, Hi-Fi Rush would have never had that exciting shadow drop if it did physical, though. So I'm not trying to straw man you, Nicholas. I guess it's just one of those things where I'm not upset if they're going to choose to outsource, and in this case, to a trusted outsource partner who handles the likes of Star Wars, who handles the likes of Persona. Like they used to do just little indie games. Like I remember when I first started shopping at Limited Run, they did like Vita games, indie Vita games. And that's where I built out a lot of my collection, just these random indie Vita. Now it's like big profile titles and licenses. It's pretty cool to see. So I get the upsetment because you have to wait when you order it. You have to wait, which sucks. But I think when it comes to, I have more concerns about them outsourcing in other areas. Like they laid off built-in knowledge, major key players across all of their IP, especially Call of Duty. They laid off into. And if they plan to outsource to fill those gaps, that is where my concern really lies. But physical here, to answer your question, Nicholas, do I think Xbox made a mistake here, or is this an intentional move to further kill off physical? We talked about the latter. I don't think it's a mistake, though. I don't. These games likely underperform, so they're bringing them to other audiences sell digitally. They're double dipping. They're going to get people in the Limited Run is the home of the double dip. Like I bought Hi-Fi Rush. Yes. I bought Pentiment. I'm going to buy them again.
Yes.
And that's what they're home to. They're home to idiots like me who bought the same game twice. Cog, any thoughts on Xbox choosing Limited Run Games as a partner for physical releases?
Yeah, you pretty much nailed my sentiments. I just think that my concern would have been bigger if they had no partner and we learned, oh, guess what, guys? Limited Run doing the physical, PlayStation and Switch only. Then you go, okay. So that's why I don't mind them outsourcing and making this partnership with them. That you guys clearly not going to do it. Let the people who are doing it well do it, minus their terrible shipping. But other than that, when you get it, it's a high quality product for collectors. So yeah, my fear would have been if there's no option for this and they are doing again that Xbox One level, heavy handed, aggressive cutoff approach. That to me is when I would have had a problem.
Yeah. You also, As Dusk Falls is coming to PS5. That is March 7th, and it's getting a physical copy too.
Yeah, that one. I know.
So there's another one.
Yes. He said there's another one. The way you said there's another one. It was just a funny time,
man.
Just the way you put it, it was hilarious.
Any thoughts on this? Otherwise, are we good to move along?
I think we good. We got it out.
All right, cool. All right, so now coming soon to Xbox Game Pass, we have on February 22nd, so it'll be out by the time you're listening to this, Bluey the video game on console, PC, and cloud. February 27th, you get Maneater on console, PC, and cloud. Madden NFL 24 on cloud. Nice. Indivisible on February 28th for console, PC, and cloud. February 29th, we see Space Engineers on console, PC, and cloud. And March 5th, you get Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun on console, PC, and cloud. Leaving Game Pass soon is Madden NFL 22. It's exiting console and PC. And Soul Hackers 2 is leaving February 29th from console, PC, and cloud. Cog, anything you want to play here? Anything you're going to rush to finish before it exits, like Soul Hackers 2?
Actually, did try that a little bit. Didn't stay too long.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I didn't stay too long. I was just like, yeah, it's okay, but not necessarily for me. Yeah. But actually, Bandaid, I heard a lot of good things about that. I never got a chance to play that game, and I remember, hearing about it. So I think they debuted at a PC showcase I went to on E3 or whatever. It was like the PC
Shark RPG. Show. Really good idea.
Yeah, I just want to see it. I was like, yeah, I'll give that a shot. What about you? Any ones for you?
Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah, played that on my Steam Deck. I don't know. I don't. Things have moved so fast. I don't know if I had a chance to talk about it here on this show, but that was like the first game I finished on my Steam Deck OLED. I know I was playing it during my holiday break though, but that game was awesome. Like that is a really fun Doom-like game. It's a boomer shooter, if you will, but the amount of audio lines they give the main character, for those who have played, you press the Y button and he like points his hand out and just talks some mad shit at the enemy. It's so good, so charismatic he is. Nice. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun. And that's one that I highly recommend people who enjoy a good first-person shooter play that one, especially if you like, for me, OG Doom. Love the classic Doom. Play Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun. Really good. Don't need to know much about Warhammer 40K either. Like
nice.
A lot of the factions feel like jargon anyway, so you can breeze by without it. But yeah, that's definitely one I want to check out. Otherwise, when it comes to leaving, I'm like you. I tried Soul Hackers 2 I tried it out actually on cloud. I played it for a couple hours and just wasn't crazy about it.
Yeah,
I wanted to love it.
Me too.
But with that, ladies and gentlemen, that's our news. And now we move into our Game Pass pick of the week. So my dogs are squealing outside my office door. They're excited for the Game Pass pick of the week.
They're hype. They know
and
how
naturally,
you feel.
with my dogs barking, you think I'd have the opportunity here to pass it off the cog and just mute my mic, but you're going to have to deal with the dogs. Tales of Arise. That is my selection. That also just came to Xbox Game Pass. I remember actually reviewing this game when we were doing the Last Stand event. What was it called? An Evening with Last Stand Media, and in Butler. And that was a really good time. And I remember bringing my Series X with me and reviewing this in the hotel. I had to give Cog the HDMI hack to get around so we could play a little Destiny.
I still have your video that you sent me. I kept that. I got the new phone there because I got the Galaxy 24. I don't know, man. He sent me the video. I got to keep that. That's archived for my hotel console business. I know what to do.
That is so funny. So have you pulled that out since I sent you that?
Yes, I pulled it out. I've actually, there was one hotel, because I forgot. I was like, what am I supposed to do again? And you were like, this cable right here, Cog. And I'm like, okay, cool. But I've used that. I've used it again.
Dude, that's so funny. Yeah, that was the game I was reviewing, though. So I had to figure out how to get it set up in the hotel TV. And I adore this game. I really think it's fantastic. My biggest critique with Tales has always been the environmental art. It's very stale and bland and the dungeons are boring. But Tales of Arise, they just found the budget and threw it at this game, and it's crazy. I found the story, at least the first half of the story, to be phenomenal. Second half is still great, but it gets a little crazy and maybe confusing. But the first half, those 5 kingdoms you go through, the intensity of the voice acting and the cast, and it's so good. It is really some special stuff, in my opinion. But the combat's the star of the show here, just how Tales of always had great combat, but they really mastered, I think, the flow of it, the power of it, the impact of it, the team attacks that you can do. It just all feels really, really good here. And enemies aren't spongy for no good reason. The camera is fully 3D, where sometimes they kind of shift the camera to the side. It just feels really good. The battles take place in the overworld, not necessarily the these like set maps. So yeah, it's really good. It's really seamless. It's beautiful. The end game content in Arise is fantastic. I do want to throw that out there. I remember after my review, I went in and did that, and a lot of cool secret boss fights in there, a lot of cool loot, side quests, but otherwise, just really good game. Really, really good game. Highly recommend people check out Tales of Arise, especially the first half, man. The first half. I would argue though, if they ended the game where the first half ended and just made a sequel afterwards, might have been a better choice. But that first half is some of the best shit you'll see in a JRPG nowadays. Like it's really good.
Question: am I getting this confused? Is this the Tales? Like this the one that has all those entries? What's the game that you've been playing that has all
Trails.
those Trail? Oh, I thought this was Trail. Okay,
no, you're good. You're good.
Confused.
Yeah, they sound the same. You're good.
Got you. Okay.
You're good. This Tales of Arise. Yeah, this is not my beloved Trails.
Got you. No, fair. What's the full name of Trails so I get for clarity?
I call it Trails, but it's the Legends of Heroes.
Okay,
series.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So,
fair enough.
Yeah, that's just such a mouthful that I just save my oxygen.
I feel it. Trails it is.
Yeah, my Game Pass pick of the week is Tales of Arise. I recommend
Arise.
people check it out if you're looking for a really good JRPG, good action JRPG, I should say, with a lot going on, a lot of great themes. Biggest complaint, I will say, the skits that you'd find in previous Tales of games with like the illustrations and the interactions, like they're so good and they're so funny. And it's really good because the art they originally used, they got rid of that and used more like cutscene style delivery. And it's probably better for the new fans, but for the returning fans and the old fans, I think it's actually worse. So conversation's still great, still funny, but they're less captivating and snappy and engaging, in my opinion, because of that change. So that's the only critique I really have. But Tales of Arise is wonderful and really got me on board, where I'm excited to see them do some more in that series with a new entry. All right, Cog, we got one last question here before we're out. We're out of here. Dragon Paul 22 writes in, "Hey Dukes, my friends and I are heading to PAX East for the first time this year. Since you guys have talked in the past about your experiences at the convention, I was wondering if there's anything we got to check out, any good places to eat or shops to check out. This is our first time going to Boston, so we're pretty excited. Wishing you Dukes a long live Xbox console generation still to come. P.S. Any defining Duke meetups at PAX East potentially?" So, Cog, what are our must hit spots for PAX East? If you're in the area, where are you going?
All right, we talked about it, but now I'm forgetting the name. It's the seafood spot.
Legal Seafood. Yeah,
Legal
you and I
Seafood.
share a love for that. You got to go there, Dragon Paul.
Bro, you got to go there. That is a mainstay. I'm trying to think. I mean, honestly, there's a Mexican spot, but I mean, it's okay. I can't co-sign. I will say this: there's the Omni Hotel, the shops around it, which is directly across from PAX East itself. They've got some really cool little spots, and there's a nice little sports bar there. We went there, watched the game one time. But I have to co-sign Legal Seafood. That's like amazing.
That's the spot. You gotta go. Yeah.
Like
I will say, while you're on the show floor, don't sleep on the food trucks. I think they're outside it'd be the west exit. Mm-hmm. Those are so good. They got some of the best food you'll have all weekend there. We tried it on a flyer a couple of years ago, and like now it's a staple. Like we just always go to the food trucks on the floor. It's so good. So don't sleep on those.
And what I would say, I'm sorry. One
go
last
ahead. I was going to think.
I don't know if this is, I don't know, last year they did it, but was tradition. I know Maddie doesn't do this life anymore, but the Acer parties tend to be off the chain. I will have to say, like, I'm not like a big gamer party person like that, but I will say that is always every year the most iconic, gamer centric, and network opportunity spot you can ever do. Now I got to see if they're bringing it back, because that's like a PAX East tradition, and I will say it was bigger than anything E3 has ever done. Like, it is a movie You know what I'm saying? Kind of thing. So I think they're bringing it back. I'll find out. But if they do and you hear about it, make sure you get a ticket. Try at least show up and get in there. You get like a free drink or a ticket or something if you bought a PAX East badge or something like that. They usually have some arrangement for the gamers.
Ernesto's Pizzeria is one. I know Dustin's talked about that. I don't know where you're from, Dragon Paul. Like for me as a New Yorker, I think Ernesto's Pizzeria is really good, but like it especially like when it's non-New York pizza, like it's really impressive. But if if you're from like South or the Midwest, like you want that kind of great pizza experience, this should be a must stop place in my opinion. I recommend the Spirit of Adventure. Just like this isn't a place, just like what my friends and I did was we spent a Sunday we walked like 15 miles I think, and it was like just all deep into the city of Boston. There's just so many pit stops along the way, so many things that are going to drag your eye. Like we walked by the Boston University campus. I think it was Boston University. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head, but we walked by that campus. We found like manga shops. We found game shops. Like there's just something everywhere. I mean, it's a city, so there's always tons of things to explore and find. So one of my best suggestions for you is just to literally Google, like, if you want to do game collecting, I think the PAX booths have kind of, I'd say save your money. Like they're not, it's not even price in my opinion. It's just like the quality and the offering. Like it's not quite there yet, but they have a lot of great local game shops in Boston that you should check out. One that I really liked was Second Chance Games. They were originally in Lynn. They've moved locations now, but they were really spectacular. Great selection, amazing staff. So definitely check out Second Chance. That was definitely the one that stuck with me the most. There's some returning booths that at least for the last two PAXs have been there that I can recommend. There was one with was a gentleman from Philadelphia, I believe, who's come there twice over. And so he just brings his collection and sells it off there. And he has great pickings. And best part is you get to negotiate on the show floor, wheel and deal a little bit. So There's that. But yeah, just kind of go where your heart tells you to go. Boston's a really awesome city. Lots of great things to do there, places to eat, especially. So yeah, go hog wild in there, man. Have fun. And then of course, feel free to write in and let us know your thoughts on your first time at PAX. Try not to get too overwhelmed. The show floor, when you're going down the escalator, will be a little intimidating at first, but once you're kind of in the thick of it, it's not that bad. But yeah, when you're looking at like a sea of people, it's definitely like, oh shit kind of moment.
There's a ton of people here. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here, but you'll get over it and you'll be fine. But just a heads up on that front. All right, Cog. That does it for episode 164 of Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast. So we end now with the hashtag. What are we thinking?
A lot of change. I'm trying to, man, this was a day. I don't know how to, it's hard to describe it in one word. Like, I'm trying to think, unless you got something, because I'm like, we've seen things we ain't see before. So it's like, how do we internalize that? That's how I look at it. I don't want to just, I think change is just too simple, but we need something, I don't know, we need something that kind of reflects what's happening with the whole games going, you know what I'm saying? Other places.
Unprecedented DD.
You
like it?
You've been on fire with it, yo. Yeah. It's
all
unprecedented.
Right. Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, if you got this deep, you want to let us know, you can tag us on Twitter. I'm at G7Status. Cog is at Lord Cognito. Use the hashtag unprecedented DD. Let us know your thoughts on the episode. If you don't use social media, that's cool. You can go ahead and use the comment section down below. Unprecedented DD. Let us know your thoughts on the episode. Cog, any closing thoughts before we round this out completely?
No, shout out to the Rum of the Dukes, man. And shout out to the LSM fam. I really got some really cool comments and positive feedback, and it feels good. You know what I'm saying? I know you kind of mentioned it a little earlier, but I want to reinforce it. You know, I'm trying to be better at communicating on social media, but I still been in my little social media. I'm dipping in, dipping out, playing games, and I'm really dealing with the foolishness too much, but I'll try to get the news when I can. But I'm not really want to, because when I dipped in and I saw comments, I'm like, oh wow, like, it was a lot of love. Like I'm not. It was when I wasn't used to all this love. Usually, especially during these topics, I'm like, okay, the sensitivity is high, and people are like, no, like the Dukes, you guys killed it, masterclass. You know, people are like, hey, even keel. I love comments. Obviously, I'm not in the ecosystem, but man, or whatever. Yeah. So I just want to shout out the LSM fam. Like, it's really been really humbling to see that. And for people who just find us now, being like, yo, just found you guys because of this, and I really love what you guys do. And I love the synergy you two have. Like that, I'm seeing a lot too. So salute to everybody who's been sending love. It really means a lot. That does uplift. Sometimes we go through it, we're human, you know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes we got our own things going on. So when you see that, it makes the hard work that all of us doing. Maddie's doing like 5 zillion things. I'm doing 5 zillion things. You know what I'm saying? But when you see people appreciate what you do and the work that you put in, it's definitely something that feels good. So salute to LSM and some of the dokes.
Yeah, we appreciate the support, everyone. And so
yes,
with that, we will catch you all next week for episode 165. We'll see what tragedy awaits us then. Until that point, you all have a great rest of your week, and we'll catch you for episode 165. Peace out. Peace.
Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC, and is recorded from the United States of America. The show is conceived by Matthew Mr. Matty Plays Schroeder and me, Colin Moriarty, and is written and produced by Matthew Schroeder. Matty's co-host is Barry Lord Cognito Eversley. Defining Duke's executive producer is Dustin Furman, and the show is edited by associate producer Ben Smith. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand Media's shows, including Defining Duke, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer support level on Patreon, and we're thankful for your kindness and generosity.